What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Let me get my equipment straight. Certainly on TikTok. I appreciate you folks tuning in. What is it? 96 days until the election. Who's counting down? We all are counting down. Certainly, probably, I'm going to say probably, but shit, damn sure it's certainly one of the most, if not the most consequential election in our lifetime. Now, I know you likely hear that every 4 years. This is the most consequential election in our lifetime. They certainly said it when it was time for Biden to hopefully take out Trump. They said it when Hillary Clinton was looking like she was going to win and Trump was going to overturn the system. And they damn sure said it every time Obama ran for president because they believed that Obama was promoting socialism and was going to outright end the Second Amendment. So the most consequential election in our lifetime, once again, it is certainly being stated this November, 96 days. 96 days until the election takes place. So we're going to talk about a couple topics. I can't believe I'm asking this. However, I'm going to put it out there because it is literally all over social media. Certainly something Trump has also discussed several times. You see what the live stream is titled. In regards to Kamala Harris, DJ Julio, the jellyfish, DJ Julio, thank you. Started out right. In regards to Kamala Harris, presidential contender, current vice president, does her heritage matter? Will that affect your vote at all? Now, she's stating she's a black woman. Others are stating she's part Indian, part Jamaican. Some folks are saying outright she is not black at all. She's perpetrating, or as we used to say back in the day, she is faking the funk. So I don't ask right off the bat, because it's coming up every damn where. Does her heritage make a difference in what you decide to do at the polls? Maybe you believe that, if she's going to lie about this, what else she's going to lie about? Maybe you believe she's not genuine. Maybe you believe you don't give a damn. Maybe you believe she's being mistreated and she is indeed. She has indeed identified as black most of her life. We're talking about everything from, I believe she was, she attended an HBCU, an historically black college. She obviously joined a black sorority. I believe even when she got her law degree, she participated in, black legal programs. So, but I want to ask you folks, it's crazy to be asking this, but does her heritage make one damn bit of a difference when you go to the polls in regards to Kamala? This is applying to folks on the right and the left. And last but not least, I can't believe people are still saying this, so I want to get clarity on this. I've had a host of folks that support Trump, my beloved MAGA. We have no problem with it, but abortions are not being banned. A lot of folks are suggesting that you should not vote for Trump because he's banning abortion. And a lot of folks on the right are stating that abortion has not been banned. Under Trump, you don't have a reason to fear abortion bans, just being returned to the states or whatever the case may be. So I want to ask you folks, is that an accurate phrase? That if you vote for Trump, you don't have to worry about abortion bans? Because a hell of a lot of folks on the right are stating that in regards to folks on the left suggesting that Trump banned abortion. No, he didn't. It's still legal. You still can get it done. Is it wrong to suggest that Trump was responsible for banning abortion? Certainly would be if abortion is not banned, but I want to talk to you folks because you're hearing that constantly as a defense from the right. I also want to side topics, because in regards to abortion, we also want to point out a lot of folks are suggesting that Trump is, wrongfully being treated as a whipping boy, and a lot of labels are being affixed to the man that he does not deserve, he has not earned. So we're going to talk about those other labels as well, such as people suggesting that he's somehow a bigoted, racist, or something of that nature. Do want to talk to you folks about that. Why is that constantly coming up? Is he being mistreated, mislabeled? Folks suggesting that he is here to take away women's rights. Obviously, some might throw abortion in there, maybe something else. But do you fear Trump somehow, some way, is a threat to the progress of women? Or is that once again gaslighting and simply improperly labeling former President Trump? And last but not least, the notion that some way, somehow, Trump is making some kind of attempt to be a dictator. Is that once again yet another gaslighting of Trump, some wrongful title, or are there legitimate reasons to affix that? So that's what we're going to be talking about. You know how the program is ran. It always has been, always will be. MAGA friendly. Liberals are welcome as well. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. You don't have to agree with anybody in the comment section. You damn sure don't have to agree with the host. It's all about free speech here. That's how we do it. Go left of Bernie Sanders to him having dinner with QAnon. It's all about free speech. So looking in the comments, Trump for women, says Tiger Fall. Well, that's what we're talking about. Folks are suggesting that Trump is somehow, some way taking away women's rights. You're saying Trump is indeed for women. And I see Ginger Twist says the same thing. Now, Dennis Miller points out a fairly controversial statement made by Trump, and that is, you won't have to vote anymore. I can assure you that'll likely come up in this conversation, and what the hell did that mean? Because that is a controversial statement, and people do have their own opinion of what he meant by the statement, you'll never have to vote again. So we'll start it out. Appreciate you folks that are already tapping the screen. Get the likes up to about 10,000. We can make that happen. Helps out the algorithm. And I see in the comments on YouTube, Andrew says Trump is the best we've got. Well, you had 9 other choices. Do you think he was better than the likes of Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy, Tim Scott? Who else was up there? Chris Christie, the governor of North Dakota. There was a lot of other folks. Electric Wolf 45. Good afternoon, Wolf. Welcome to the program. The box may be having problems already. We're trying to bring up Electric Wolf. Let me see. What's good, everyone? We're starting the program. Trump is for all Americans. Fix the economy, decrease crime, and handle the border. First of all, two pushbacks on that. Red states, blue states. If you're for all Americans, I don't think the red state, blue state comments should be made, or, shithole, Baltimore's a shithole, or Milwaukee's. I mean, if you're going to be for all Americans, I don't know if those phrases resonate, but I appreciate the effort to fix the economy. And I don't really know how a president can decrease crime, like in liberal cities and things like that. I don't know how that can be done, but this is where you educate the host. I'd like to hear from you folks. How can a president lower crime in Detroit, for instance? What can he do to lower crime in individual cities? If we're suggesting we want to cut back the federal intervention and let the states decide, what can the president do to reduce crime? Because he is running on that, by the way. He is stating that under Biden, crime in America has went up. So if you elect him, he's going to lower crime. How can he do that? I'm trying to bring on a guest. The box is problematic. We'll give it a second. Crime goes up with unemployment. That is true, Julio, but unemployment under both Trump and Biden has been incredibly low. I mean, Trump was bragging that he had a 3.5% unemployment rate, which is true. When Trump was in office, we had some of the lowest unemployment in recent memory, I think, ever. And then Biden came along and actually lowered it even more. We have not had a lot of unemployment under Trump or Biden. So, but I do agree with you. Unemployment can be a precursor to crime. People need to eat. Try with another guest. Having trouble with the box. Moo, the tuxedo cat, came right up. Good afternoon, Moo.
What's up, man? What's going on?
Not much. Good to have you back. Kamala Harris. Does her heritage make one damn bit of a difference when you vote?
I mean, it only makes a difference when you vote if you're a Republican, man, because they're worried about this kind of thing, right? They're so focused on what is she, who is she, this, that. They're not even focusing on her policies, right? That's really what you want to be looking at, what she's going to do moving forward, what she brings to the table. I don't care if she's purple, my dude. I don't care if she has pinstripes, you know what I'm saying? This is something that, very unintelligent people focus on, my dude.
Why do you think, because you said it's only coming from the Republican side, why do you think they're focusing on her heritage?
I mean, because that's what riles their base up, right? These are the things that they focus on to get their voters excited to come out and vote really against the Democratic nominee, right? Because right now, they're not even really voting for Trump, right? Because Trump doesn't have any policies, my dude. If you look at his bumbling, stumbling face at the reporter convention that he was just at, right? Dude, he can barely put a sentence together at this point. The only thing he does well right now is attack people on their race, on their, their sexuality, easy things that he can handle at this point, right? Because he can't handle anything complex anymore.
Okay, I got two questions out of a couple of things you said. First of all, you said you said Trump doesn't have policies. We'll talk about that. But you also said that the right focuses on heritage because it riles up the base. Why would the base be riled up in regards to the discussion of Kamala's heritage?
Yeah, well, the thing is, right, a lot of these people are the Confederates that told you they would be back and we would rise again, right? So they don't want a black woman in office being president, right? The reason they say Obama was the great divider is because of them. They're the ones who are divided. They didn't want a black president. And that's why they consider Obama the great divider, right? They come up here and bullshit like, oh, Obama divided. Yeah, Obama divided the country because you didn't like that a black man was president. That's why you divided the country. And they're doing it again. It's the same shit. It's the same shit since like forever at this point.
So her heritage is relevant simply due to racism.
To them, yeah, it's relevant. To me, it's not relevant at all. I don't give a crap. Again, I don't care whether she has pinstripes. I don't care whether she, it doesn't matter to me, my dude.
I mean, but you don't think all MAGA, all Trump supporters are racist, do you?
I mean, I don't know, man. It seems like they are, but, I will say this. All racists are definitely MAGA.
Wait, first of all, why does it seem like, you said you don't think so, but it seems like they are.
Look at the things they focus on, right? They're worried about, is Jamaican people really, are they really black people? I mean, these are ridiculous. Bro, this election is so ridiculous, my dude. I've never seen an election so much about nonsense and less about policy in my life, honestly. It's really, it's sad, my dude. It's sad.
Well, in defense of Trump supporters, in defense of MAGA, they got to go after a few, because there's not... Here's the difference, because MAGA wants, the Democrats to have some kind of primary and fight and all of that, because if they put Gavin Newsom or Gretchen Whitmer or somebody up there is more things to attack them on because they have been governors. That's one of the benefits, I guess, for the left by putting Kamala up there. There's not a lot policy-wise to attack her on because VPs kind of take a back seat. That's why they're coming at her, as you state, with things that are not policy related. There's not a lot to go.
That's good for the Democrats, man, because honestly, their arguments are so weak. And J.D. Vance is the biggest gift I've ever seen in my life, man. He's like a big old present wrapped in a bow for the Democrats, my dude, because the things he says are, so at this point, Red, I really feel that Trump even has like drastic cognitive decline, man, because watching him at that interview he just had with those black reporters, I mean, it's really bad at this point, and I think he should be made to step down. I think that they should get rid of him as the candidate.
Well, you think he's in cognitive decline so badly?
Yeah, I think it's really bad too, man. He doesn't look good at all. He was having trouble staying. I mean, he always has trouble staying on topic, but even more so now than before. He didn't answer any questions, man, and they were asking him some really good questions too, and he just doesn't have any answers, and I don't think he can even comprehend a lot of what they're saying to him because I think their vocabulary was at a higher level than what he can actually even understand.
Wow. I don't know. I mean, so is it that MAGA simply can't see that, what you're talking about?
No, they know that. They just don't care. Understand, they don't care, right? Like, they don't care that he's in cognitive decline. They don't care that he wants to be a dictator. They don't care that he's not really a Christian. They don't care that he doesn't really care about any of the positions he speaks on. They don't care that he's getting paid to care about any of the positions he speaks on. This is what they want for president. They want an old, broken man who's having a lot of trouble carrying on, right? And really needs to just drop out at this point.
Let me ask you. Wow, that's crazy. And Matthew Mosley, thank you for the subscription. Certainly, that did not go unnoticed. I appreciate your support. Moo Gen X on YouTube says, "Bro, most of us don't give a fuck about skin color." Now he's MAGA. He's suggesting that you're wrong about that.
Okay, that's fine. That's him, but it's blatantly obvious that so right, does he speak for the campaign, right? He obviously doesn't speak for the Trump campaign because you're supporting a man who does care. So even if you don't, you're still going along with the rhetoric and supporting and going to cast your vote for the man who does. So it doesn't much matter what you say. It's your actions that really matter, right? So I don't think that's a very good argument. I don't think it's very credible, and I don't think it's made in good faith either.
Yeah, but you do realize a lot of people are voting for Trump because you said he has no policies protecting the border, lowering, inflation.
Let me correct that, right? His policies are terrible, right? Like, he still talks about the same crap he's been talking about for like 8 years now, right? Finishing the wall, kicking out minorities, etc., right? Giving the police full immunity. Women's medical care.
What do you mean by kicking out minorities? Where is that coming from?
Yeah, so you're right. Like, they have this pipe dream that they're going to deport like 11 million people, and that Trump actually has the intelligence to coordinate such an effort, right? And that what really isn't going to happen is a bunch of your tax dollars are going to be wasted. It's going to be a catastrophe. Millions of families are going to get separated. They won't get close to the 11 million that they're claiming, and it'll be a national disaster and catastrophe, probably one of the worst in history, because Trump can't coordinate such an effort. He doesn't have the intelligence to do so.
So you don't think Trump is an intelligent guy?
No, he's an idiot. No. He's not a smart man at all.
Then how the hell did he become a billionaire?
Well, dude, so smart people don't necessarily have money, right? Like, look at the My Pillow guy. He got a bunch of money, and would you say he's an intelligent man, right? Like, it's easy when you start out and you're part of a rich family and you inherit a bunch of wealth, right? Because really what you need to do at that point is you just talk to a guy, right? And he tells you, take these millions of dollars you have, right, and invest them in stocks to pay you heavy dividends, and you really don't need to work for the rest of your life, right? Because you'll get millions of dollars in dividends every year, every month, or etc. So you don't need to be smart to have money. You just need to start with money to make more money. That's why America's rigged against the middle class people, right? Because you need money to make money, especially in this capitalistic system, right? Especially since capital gains aren't very heavily taxed.
I can't argue with you that I can't argue with you that the system is not favorable to the have-nots. I agree with you 100%. Once again, Gen X says that Trump can answer questions, unlike what you said. He said he's just tired of dealing with window-licking retards asking him stupid shit. So in other words,
I agree with you. He's definitely tired because he's old and he doesn't have the energy to carry on. I agree with you. He's tired and he needs to step down because he's just not a good candidate. He's extremely weak. He's uncomprehendable, right? Again, he can't answer questions. I mean, if you think he answered questions, I don't have any argument for that because I watched the interview. He didn't answer the question. So I'm not going to debate whether he did or he didn't because I saw it with my own eyes. So this is not something that's arguable, right? There's a reality and then there's the multiverse that these people like to fucking reside in, right? So I don't travel over to the fucking multiverse with these people. I watched the interview. I know what I saw. I know what I heard. Your moronic orange moron can't answer questions because he doesn't have the vocabulary to even understand what they're asking him. And that's the truth.
So if he can't answer questions, is it safe to assume that you believe, Moo, that he will not be debating Kamala?
I mean, if he does, it would be like an act of the universe because, I mean, she'll destroy him and he knows it, man. I watched her take on Brett Kavanaugh and a bunch of other people in congressional hearings. I mean, half the time she leaves people speechless, my man. Half the time they don't even know what to say back to her because she's very good at asking questions. I mean, she's a prosecutor. So, yeah, I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if he debates her.
I'm starting to hear more and more people say that, but he did, I believe he said at a rally yesterday after leaving that black, the black something...
reporter convention
yeah, the black reporter.
Yeah, that's the interview I'm talking about, man. I mean, if you're a member of the black community and you're not outraged by that, honestly, I don't see how. I mean, I'm not black. So, I mean, but I have empathy. I can kind of step in other people's shoes and understand how something looks. And I would say if I was a black person, I would be furious at that interview. It was a total disaster.
I want you to,
a bunch of votes because of that.
I want you to elaborate. Now, obviously, you're not black. There's nothing wrong. You can still speak on the topic. Why do you personally believe an African American should be upset or outraged by that interview? What was said?
Because again, he was skirting around questions like, what is a black job? He just skirted around things they were asking him the whole time. They asked him very, very hard questions. And I suggest you guys go watch the interview, because half the time he just kind of skirts over to immigration issues, which is really what he used the whole time. Instead of answering the questions they were asking him, what he did was he used immigration. But I honestly don't think the black community is as scared of immigration as white people are. I think black people are actually a lot less timid when it comes to immigration than white people in general, to be honest with you. So that was a very poor choice on his part to try and intimidate the black community with immigration issues, especially fake ones, by saying like 15 million. He's doing the caravan thing again, right? That he did before. 15 million people are coming across the border and they're coming to take your jobs. And it's the same. He's got no new shit, my dude, right? This is all the same thing.
Well, you can't blame the man. It has worked at rally after rally. Now, that convention was not a rally.
He admitted he's responsible for what's going on in Venezuela, right? He helped along what was going on over there, and he's responsible for these caravans. And then you tell MAGA this, right? There's even an executive order that Trump signed on his last day showing all these things. And you tell them this, right? And they're like, no. That's why I don't deal with these people anymore, man. They live in a goddamn multiverse.
All right, Moo. You definitely stirred up my damn crowd, but I always appreciate you coming on, man. Good talk.
Yeah, man, absolutely. You have a good one.
Appreciate it. Now, Marcus Forks, I did want to address your super chat on YouTube, says white people created the one drop rule, referring to if you got one drop of black blood in your system, then you're not white. He said white people created the one drop rule. It was intended to be divisive and cause confusion, and it worked. Be upset with your ancestors, not everyone else. That came from Marcus Forks. I think it is difficult for anybody to deny that that's not true. Now, we may suggest that you don't want to use that in 2024 or something of that nature. We can debate that. But yeah, the one drop rule was indeed created, back in the day by folks who had a supremacist mindset. I don't think that's deniable by anybody. The only argument is, well, we're not doing it anymore. We're trying to, sway away from that. We'll debate that. Anyhow, looking in the comments, and thank you, Marcus, for that super chat. Last caller had TDS, says Timcast Podcast. TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome. We'll talk about that. Tap the screen. Get the likes up to about 25,000, almost 1,000 of you in here already, so we can certainly make that happen. This is uncensored programming. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. So you're going to hear opinions you like, opinions you don't like. We don't, even with the host, you don't have to agree with the host. I'll challenge you, but we'll allow you to speak for damn sure. Trump Derangement Syndrome. One of the issues concerns I have with Trump Derangement Syndrome, I've never heard a person that is favorable to Trump be accused of having Trump Derangement Syndrome. There is a social media post, for instance, of someone who actually seen Trump, in Pennsylvania after having his ear grazed, hand in the air, blood across his face, and they actually tattooed that on their back. That photo, that well-known photo, somebody had that tattooed on them. I did not hear of a single person suggest that individual has Trump Derangement Syndrome. So far to this point, I've only heard TDS referred to people who are critical of Trump. Although we know folks have tattoos, folks have pictures of Trump on their cars and everything, I've never heard any of them being referred to as having Trump Derangement Syndrome. So I don't quite get the meaning of it, other than, is it only something that applies to people who don't like Trump? I don't quite get it. Let me go to the box. I appreciate you folks that are already tuned in, tapping the screen. We'll try it again. Electric Wolf for 5. Good afternoon, Wolf.
Hello.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
loud and clear. Kamala Harris, you got a loud background.
I can't hear.
Okay, he had to drop out. All right, we'll keep it when his background was really loud, so apparently something was going on. We'll continue on with one of my subscribers. You know, my subscribers get first digs. Arsha, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Does her heritage matter at all? Arsha, good afternoon.
Oh my. Gosh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hate to have to ask this question, but does the vice president's heritage matter to you at all come election day?
It doesn't matter to me. I mean, it would be a great achievement, I think, for the United States to have their first female president. I think, we've been behind in that with a lot of other countries. I was listening to you yesterday, your evening live, and you had a guest on there that was black, and he was saying, Kamala's not really black.
Yeah.
And and then because she's part, it just baffles me. Like, how in the world are we gonna start dissect? Because I'm biracial. And I remember him saying, she was on a cooking show learning how to cook Indian food. Well, my mom's white. I learned how to cook white people food. I don't even know what that means. Does that mean that I should be identifying as Caucasian because I learned how to make,
Well, that's, you raise a good point. Go ahead, keep going.
But I also learned how to make cornbread and yams and all that from my black side of my family. So what does that mean? They did the same thing with Barack Obama. Oh, he's not really black because his mom's white. Well, if you're treated like a black person, you're a black person. If somebody calls you the N-word, that's when I realize, oh, you know what? I'm black.
Wow. Yeah. You raise a good point because we call people white in this country, but if you're out on St. Patrick's Day celebrating your Scottish heritage, people don't say, no, you're not white, you're Scottish. And there are plenty of white people that can be seen with clovers on them and, things that allude to the fact that they're born in Scotland or their heritage goes to Scotland at least. And nobody ever tells them to stop calling themselves white, call themselves Scottish. I don't know where it comes from when you look at it that way.
I think it's degrading to her. Him saying, that interview that I watched yesterday just baffled me. How he spoke to that one woman, calling her nasty and rude, and just because she was asking him questions that he had done, like Mr. Donald, he started the birther movement, all this, and he freaked out. He's like, how dare you say such horrible things? Like, you said those horrible things.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Trump likes to be challenged. And I will thank you folks in the comments for correcting me. Not Scottish, Irish. My fault.
Irish,
but somebody in the comments also stated that Trump is Scottish. I thought he was German too. I thought his dad was part. I don't know, but we call him white. We don't hold him accountable to.
Yeah. He's an Anglo-Saxon male.
Yeah.
No, and to the point of that guy also. I think her heritage matters to people that it matters to. Like if her heritage doesn't matter anything to me. I think of her as she's a woman of color. She's definitely, to say she's not black. I mean, she went to a HB. I don't know. I think it's crazy. It's going to matter to you if you're a racist. Yeah. It's probably going to matter to us, like me as a female, of color. It'll matter to me because it's going to be an achievement. It can be another box that's checked, right?
Okay, well, in regards to checking other boxes, how do you respond to folks that might suggest she's only saying that she's black to try to pander to the black community and get votes?
Well, is that the same thing Barack Obama did?
don't think anybody. Well, you're right. They question. I don't. The African American community don't question whether either one of these individuals is black. So yeah, Barack Obama did it, but it's not like the African American community did not view Obama as black until he became a politician. He was widely accepted in the black community long before he became a politician. So the only people saying he was not black are people who were not black themselves.
Exactly, and I think that's the same thing that's kind of happening with Harris.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. I would submit to you.
Did you see how many
Go ahead.
people were at her rally in Atlanta?
Yeah, with Megan Thee Stallion. But
there were a lot of
folks are going to say they were there. Folks are going to say they were there because they got a free concert, though.
Who cares? I saw a lot of color in the audience.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going to be far more diversity at any liberal gathering than a conservative gathering, though.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just going to be another talking point. It's the only thing they have, really. They're going to attack her like they do all women. It's going to come down to, the thing she slept her way from the top. I mean, he even had the nerve to say she never even passed her bar exam during that interview. I was like, this man is delusional.
He did say that. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, do you have any evidence she didn't pass her bar exam? I mean, the woman's like 60 years old. You're going back 40 years?
And, he was corrected by one of the journalists, but he still doesn't care. He just spits out this narrative because now there's going to be a question. If you are a Trump supporter, did she actually? So, they're going to go and check possibly and cross-check and, stuff like that. So, just constantly questioning a person of color and a woman's credibility and ability to be smart and have achieved success. I think that is their only thing that they have right now.
Now, you said their only thing. Do you see MAGA, Trump supporters, as being anti-women or something of that nature? I get what you're saying about Trump, but do you believe MAGA's like that?
I mean the GOP.
The Republican Party, you believe is anti-woman?
I believe it's much more pro-man.
Explain, elaborate.
Well, thinking that women and the nuclear family was better off when women were, not, seeking out careers and jobs, but raising the kids. I mean, that's kind of taking away any woman's ability for her own personal achievement, taking away women's right to choose.
Wait, and that was one of before you continue. That's part of the second topic. I've had an insane amount of folks on the right lately tell me that a woman's right to choose has not been taken away. Abortion has not been banned. You can still have an abortion. How do you respond to folks who continue to say that you're lying if you say Trump banned abortion?
Tell that to the women that live in Texas.
Well, they're going to say
Tell that to the women that live in Florida. Where they live, it's banned.
Yeah. But they're going to continue to push back and say if you want to have it, you still can. You just got to get it outside of Texas.
Yeah, I mean, if you have money, you're not, there's the saying, Ted Cruz's daughters are never going to have a problem. Because they can, if something ever happens to his kids, they can fly somewhere. But not everybody can take time off work, drive hundreds of miles away. It's just it puts the burden on the woman.
Yeah, and it does. If you're
we don't do anything like that to men. There's not a single. I mean, the GOP still won't pass the equal pay law. And it's 2024.
Well, I can cite a few pushbacks on it, but I gotta push it. I gotta read this to you because it is a super chat. Gen X says women should be making sandwiches. Repeal the 19th. He's not because you're mentioning you believe the GOP has this mindset of women should stay in their lane. If I'm hearing you correctly, Gen X says that women shouldn't be able to vote.
See, and I guarantee you, he's probably going to vote Republican. So that
he's MAGA. He's MAGA. He's MAGA.
Well, far, yes, very conservative.
All right, fair.
Far right.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I mean, because there isn't a single law out there that's ever been passed in legislation that makes it hard for men to have any sort of procedure. Heck, you can. Yeah.
I'll leave it with, I can't argue with that. I got to move it on, Arsha. Appreciate you coming through. Well said.
I think the next 90 days or so are going to be very interesting. I think Donald Trump is probably going to dig himself into more of a hole with some of the rhetoric he says. But I hope they meet face to face. I look forward to it. I think it'll be like Tyson against. It'll be kind of like, you know how like a boxer does like a fight just for fun, just to make some money.
Damn. I don't know. People are saying that Trump is not going to debate Kamala, so you may not see that.
I know. There's not going to be the exhibition like I'm hoping for. I think he's going to chicken out. He'll catch a cold or, all of a sudden he'll have COVID. But yeah, who knows?
Well, we're all hoping to see it, Arsha. Appreciate you coming through. Yeah.
All right, have a great day.
You too. Now, in the comments, what's the call-in blockhead? Ryan, you're hearing the calls are coming from TikTok. Thank you for the super chat. But the audio you folks are hearing from the program, the handsome liberal on TikTok. And I see somebody in the comments saying, is there a such thing as a handsome person that's also liberal that you can't put this two in a sentence together? Wow. So all liberals are ugly. I get it. You guys don't go easy on the host. This is an uncensored program. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. We go left of Bernie Sanders to them having dinner with Cuda. So understand, folks, you don't have to agree with any damn body on the program. By the way, tap the screen. Get the likes up to about 45,000. We can certainly make that happen on YouTube. Feel free to smash that like button. We can do about 105. The top right hand, the three dots at the top of your screen gives you access to the like button. Helps out the algorithm. We are MAGA friendly, always have been, always will be. Liberals are welcome on the program. If you enjoy civilized dialogue from all sides of the aisle without any concern of being blocked, banned, or censored, you're in the right place. Follow the program on TikTok, a subscription on YouTube, if you will. Wanted to respond to another comment. Twain to Square, friend of the program, thank you for the super chat. Did Trump suggest Kamala as vice president shouldn't be judged because no one cares? They don't care about Vance. They are voting for him as president. Well, yeah, Trump did say that. Your comment was kind of, maybe I didn't read it right, but Trump did say that. We talked about that on last night's show. Trump stated that it really doesn't matter who he picks for the VP. The VP doesn't really make much of a difference. It's all about him. Because he was asked if he believed J.D. Vance is ready on day one. He did not say yes. He said he respects the guy. He respects all of the potential candidates, the Rubios and all the rest of them that were potential picks. He threw them all in one bunch together, said, look, I respected them all. But at the end of the day, it's not about the VP, and the VP really doesn't matter. I mean, hearing it, I hope I'm doing it justice, because how I'm explaining it is very similar. He basically said the VP pick is irrelevant. I understand a lot of folks, no way in hell he said that. Yeah, he did. I could not believe it. I got to assume J.D. Vance is looking at that like, what the hell? Now, keep in mind, appreciate the hat and mustache before we go back to the box. Thank you, RP. Yeah! Let me say this. Trump is 78. Trump is 78 years of age. How the hell would a 78-year-old man say my VP pick doesn't matter? He literally will be the oldest president in U.S. history if he wins. Older than Biden was when Biden got elected in 2020. And he's saying his VP pick doesn't matter? You may not make your 4 years. I get folks believe that Biden wasn't going to complete his term. But, you're 78. There's a lot of folks who fall down like Biden was falling down at that age and never get up again. Trump seems to have Superman syndrome. Survived, the round to his ear and things like that. Survived 91 original charges. I think the guy thinks he's Superman. I don't know, but he's 78. The idea that your vice presidential pick doesn't matter is insane. Twain the Square. I saw that in the comments. Let me go back to the box. Thank you folks for tapping the screen, moving the program on. We'll try one more time. We've been having problems with the individuals in the box. Can you hear me now?
I hope so. Can you hear me?
Perfect. You sound much better. So we're asking that question.
They're trying to keep us separated is what it is. They don't like us talking.
I like talking to you, so we're going to make it happen. Wolf, you are indeed MAGA, always a friend on the program. Asking that question, does Kamala's heritage matter at all come election day?
Well, to some people, yes, but to common sense voters, no. It's just, that's the whole point.
You said to some people.
Trump's not the one that brought her up. It was a reporter who asked the questions.
But you said to some people. Who do you think views her heritage as important?
Well, I mean, a lot of the liberal left, they look at her gender and her color. We don't care. I don't care about a woman president, whether she becomes president or not. A woman, I don't have a problem with it. I have a problem with that woman becoming president because I don't think she's competent.
Okay, give me some examples. What has she done that leads you to believe she's incompetent?
She's done nothing, and all she does is word salad her way through this whole vice presidency. That's all she's done. And on top of that, she knew that Biden was sick, that he's old, that he's frail, that he wasn't running the country, that he's not running the country, and she doesn't have the balls to say, hey, you know what, maybe we should 25th Amendment this guy. And I'll take over.
So your gripe is she was dishonest to the American people about Biden's health.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. That's just one of the things she was dishonest about.
Well, that one is, I personally would chalk that one up as a legitimate concern. A lot of folks do. But what else? You said she's been dishonest about other things. What else are you talking about?
Any of the administration, the border, that she went to the border, that she's handling the border, and that she went here and she said don't come, stuff like that. She supports the criminality of this country. The thing is, they don't look at people that are struggling and hurting and dying or passing or unaliving in this country as important. They just look at it as, oh, well, we'll get them in the next round.
You said
That's my opinion. Wait. That's the way I think they look at people.
All of these folks bringing up Kamala's previous record of allegedly locking up black people for a long period of time, and here you are saying she doesn't care about the criminality of the country. One of these things can't be right.
Well, yeah, no, one of them can't be right because when she was running for president, she was helping people get out of jail for fires and arson and assault and stuff like that. They were helping them pay their bail, requesting money for their bail and stuff like that because she was feeding into that criminal element. Because, see, this is the way liberal, in my opinion, the way liberals look at people, especially the African-American community, they look at them as a criminal element. They're like, well, we know the majority are criminals, so we're going to have to side with them. The problem is they don't see African-Americans as just Americans, just people. Okay. That's why do you think Trump can't stand when they bring up black jobs and black this and black that? And he's like, look, man, you guys are the ones playing the race card, not me. I just want to help America.
Okay, wait a minute. And by the way, Uncle Lucas, thank you for that subscription. I do appreciate that, Uncle Lucas. What do you mean? You're saying the Trump doesn't like when they bring up black jobs. Where the hell did the phrase come from?
From the question that they asked him at the debate.
That's the first time you heard about black jobs?
Well, no, I mean, anytime because you segment it, that's the problem. I'm not concerned about black jobs and brown jobs. They're jobs. They're just jobs.
But did he not,
when you're talking about the black sector of America, you're going to say black jobs. When you're talking about the Latino section, you're going to talk about Latin jobs, things like that. The thing is, they're just jobs. The problem is that they ask him questions racially motivated. That's the problem. Look at what the reporter did yesterday.
But
first thing from the jump.
Did he not suggest that immigrants are coming in this country stealing black jobs?
Because the question was posed, what about black job? What about black unemployment? What about the black community? That's what the way the question was posed.
I don't know if I heard it like that. Let me, before we continue on, thank you, White Oak Okami. White Okami says, love your stream. Stay hydrated. MAGA, thank you for the super chat. And real quick, per Maddow, that's Rachel Maddow, Rolling Stone identified 70 election deniers. Wow. Placed in swing states in responsibility for confirming votes. Thoughts if we don't get 270 electoral college votes and House chooses the president. Are you guys trying to cheat again, Wolf?
Now we're cheating. Now we're the ones cheating.
Brother, you have pled guilty to it.
Denial, are we?
You don't believe there was any what do they call them, fake electors working on behalf of Trump? You don't believe that was happening?
No, I don't believe any of that garbage.
So they just all pled guilty.
Any charges that they brought him up on because of one of the charges, all of the charges to me are jokes. I don't believe in any of the court cases, the immunity. And I'll tell you, like I told someone else on another live, the fact about the Supreme Court, you guys are crying and bitching about this immunity. You all brought it upon yourselves with this whole presidential immunity because you charged him. That's why. If you had left him alone, you hadn't brought this bullshit charges, they would have never, ever gone into that. Yeah. But they did because you put charges on him. That's what you get. That's what happens.
I partially agree, and I believe that the only reason they gave him immunity, and Gerald MC, thank you for the subscription. Thank you, Gerald, by the way. I do believe that the Supreme Court is in Trump's back pocket. And I do agree with you that if they had not charged Trump with those crimes, his Supreme Court, and when I say his, I mean his Supreme Court would not have had to give him immunity. But I do believe they are in his back pocket, and they gave him immunity to protect him. I do believe they're working on behalf of him.
You're too smart to think that.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court's not in his pocket. The problem is that the Supreme Court ruled a certain way, and everybody got their panties in a bunch. But they would not have ruled that way. They would not have brought it up. They would not have had it before them if they had just left the guy fucking alone.
Well,
you went after him with bullshit charges, and then the Constitution comes into play, and they're like, shit. And let me tell you, the sigh of relief that George Bush and Obama are breathing because they gave them that.
Well, so first of all, I'll tell you. First of all, the reason why I'm having a Biden moment. I lost my fucking train of thought. I want to read one of these super chats until that train of thought comes up. Oh, the reason why I believe the Supreme Court is in Trump's back pocket is he has picked, how many Supreme Court? He picked 3 so far. And yeah. I would submit to you that if you had a liberal, one guy, let's say Hillary Clinton or Obama picked 3 justices, you guys would be saying that Supreme Court is in their back pocket. Also, in regards to the immunity, what you're talking about, where you're saying they only gave him immunity because he was being charged with so many crimes. They didn't define what immunity is. That's a problem. If you want to give him immunity and suggest what he's being charged with he was immune to, at least define what immunity is. What they did is left the door open so that if he is ever charged for anything else, he can still fit it through because they haven't defined what it is yet.
Well, they gave it to, first of all, if I'm not mistaken, Ketanji Brown Jackson, even though she doesn't know what a woman is, she sided with the conservatives, if I'm not mistaken, on that ruling.
No, none of that explains not defining it, though, Wolf. I'm fine if you want to say the president.
Not defining it, I understand. But the thing is, handsome, I'm telling you, it's kind of like I tell people, it's a moot point. It doesn't matter. This is what you get when you deliberately target an ex-president because you want to do him wrong and you want to put him in jail. Then it got to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court basically said, yeah, he's got immunity because when he was in office or whatever, it's over. But the thing is, you would have never heard all this bullshit because this goes for Obama. This goes for Bush. This goes for Clinton. This goes for the future presidents. They were all under the same immunity. It was just never defined. They defined it under Trump because they brought charges on him, and these guys are giving a big sigh of relief, whether they want to admit it or not, because they're covered for all the bullshit, the drone bombings that Obama did, the Iraqi war with Bush, stuff like that. They're all covered now. Their asses are covered, and they should kiss Donald Trump's ass.
Well, Jesus. Jay Rogers says, or maybe he shouldn't have taken the damn documents. You know, and he's showing them the Kid Rock and all of that.
Because you guys are a bunch of babies.
Okay. And last but not least, Colin Radley says, this is in reference to you suggesting that Vice President Kamala Harris is incompetent. He says incompetent. How about that she is an actual vice president, but now all of a sudden she's going to change and save Americans? I don't quite get if he's pro or anti. Sound like he's anti. Sound like he's on your side. So,
well, yeah, it's just like I said, it's just not. I mean, if you want to talk about, oh, well, she's a lawyer and she was this and she was that, she was a senator, she was blah, blah, blah. So what? Trump was president. Punto. End of the story. She wasn't.
All right.
And he's a badass.
All right, I do got to move it on, but before I do, I'm getting a lot of folks on the right saying that abortion has not been banned. What say you?
No, it hasn't. It's been restrictive. It's going to be restrictive, but like I tell people on this too, abortion to the states is very new. It's been less than a year? I mean, come on, it's gonna gradually move in different directions, and everybody's gonna find a happy medium because of the fact that we have more access to the decisions on abortion in every state. That's
and you feel
the federal government has no business on it.
And you feel 100% confident that if we re-elect Trump and he could potentially get as much as a 7-2 majority in the Supreme Court, there is zero chance that abortion will ever go federal.
Oh, absolutely. You know, you're talking about a federal ban?
Yeah.
Yeah, the only one that's really pushing that is Lindsey Graham, and he's a piece of shit. And the thing is I think he's trying to torpedo the GOP. But Trump already said it came out of Trump's mouth. He's not willing to do a federal ban. He wants people to follow their heart. That's what he said. It's the end of story.
All right.
End of story.
You and I completely disagree on that shit, but I got to move it on, Wolf. Always a pleasure.
I missed you. One last word. I missed you. I don't care if they're trying to keep our love affair apart. They're not going to. And I saw you on Days live, and I tried to get on and talk to you, but I wasn't able to get on. But I think they took care of you. They were pretty cool to you.
Okay, appreciate it. They weren't cool to me, but come on.
Those sons of bitches. I'll talk to them about it though. I know you're a good guy.
Thank you very much. Talk to you next time. All right, moving the program on. That was Electric Wolf. All right, let me move on with the program. By the way, tap the screen, get the likes up to about 60,000. When we say uncensored, damn it, we mean it. Perfect example. My last couple callers were left and right. That's how it works. Now, somebody stated, when I mentioned with my last caller about the federal abortion ban, and I stated if Trump gets as much as a 7-2 majority in the Supreme Court, do you feel confident that he would not, it would not lead to a federal abortion ban? And somebody stated, well, the Supreme Court doesn't make laws. So you don't have to worry about the balance of the Supreme Court making a law go from states to federal because they don't make laws. They didn't make the damn law we're dealing with now. The thing is they interpret laws. And if you get a Supreme Court that leans so far to the right, Texas, yeah, thank you for the hat and mustache. If the Supreme Court is tilted so far to the right, they're going to start interpreting laws from a far right perspective. So the idea that the Supreme Court doesn't make laws so you don't ever have to worry about a federal abortion ban, there's no way in hell I feel confident about that. It depends on how the legal experts present their case to the federal Supreme Court. For instance, if a woman is pregnant and her assailant does something to her that takes the life of the baby, most states will charge the assailant for the death of that baby as well. So all you got to do is go to that far-right Republican Supreme Court and say, look, they already have laws on the books that suggest taking the life of an unborn results in a murder charge. So if the mom does it, why isn't she getting charged with murder as well? Boom, it's that 7-2 Supreme Court, that shit's going to work all damn day with them. I feel confident in saying that. A 7-2 Supreme Court listening to an argument like that, that's going to work all day with them. Federal Supreme Court now, it's considered murder. The idea that they can't go federal, to me, I think folks are just, as they used to say, pulling your chain. Let me go back to the box. I did want to acknowledge a subscription. They're Black. I cannot see the rest of that part of it. I hate missing names. Black Neor. Black Neor, thank you for your subscription. I'm getting these old ass. Appreciate the TikTok cap. Let me go back to the box. But yeah, I don't feel confident with a Supreme Court that is far right that you won't have a federal abortion ban. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Kevin J, one of my subscribers. Good afternoon, Kevin. So what do you think? Does Kamala's heritage make a difference to you when it comes to voting?
Not to me. Yeah, I'm listening to how people they care about it, and I don't know, I've got a weird opinion on it. I believe that she's lucky to be two different identities, essentially. She can be Black, she can be Indian. You know what I mean? I consider myself lucky to have been born white in America for a long time. I got a lot of different privileges. I believe in double standards. I believe that everybody should use whatever it is they have. You know what I mean?
So you suggesting that you had white privilege?
Oh, dude, I've had so much white privilege, it's not even funny. And when people say it doesn't exist, I say, don't worry, I've had enough for the next 10 people.
I'm damn sure going to ask you to elaborate on that. Give me your explanation of how you had white privilege in America where it doesn't allegedly exist.
I drove on a suspended license for 7 years, never got arrested once, never got towed once. I got pulled over one time on a suspended license with 2 warrants for my arrest. And the cop said, I don't feel like driving downtown tonight. You just drive your truck home and park it and take care of these warrants, and I'll come looking for you in 2 weeks if they're not taken care of.
Damn, okay. I didn't expect you to go that far with it. Shit, you pale in a motherfucker. Wow. Yeah, okay. You win that argument. So why do you think so many people are bringing, wow, I can't believe you just said, why do you believe that so many people are bringing up her race then, or her heritage?
Because they're looking for things. I think it's racist. I honestly do. I don't think it's a big deal. I look back at the things I'm a culprit of that in my past. When Obama was getting elected, and they were saying the first Black or the first African American president, I'm like, what are you talking about? That's a white dude named Barry from Hawaii. His father wasn't in the picture at all. He didn't have any of that. And then I look back on those statements and I'm like, man, that was fucked up of me to say that.
Yeah.
It really doesn't
matter. You think he could have got away with driving on a suspended license for 7 years?
Right.
That's really fucked up. That's hilarious. I see the comments went wild when you said that. That is real bad. I don't even feel like writing a ticket. What black man has ever heard that before? Wow. That's crazy.
Right. But yeah, I don't think it matters. I honestly look at it as an advantage, right? And I have no problems with her supposedly picking up an Atlanta Southern Black accent, whatever they want to call it, when she's down in Georgia, but then playing to the Indian side, and whatnot. Have at it. You just because you're multi-racial, doesn't, like you were saying, I'm part Scottish, I'm part Irish, I'm part Czechoslovakian, but everybody just looks at me and calls me white. Okay, whatever. Yeah. And if she's part Black, she's part Indian, cool, play to both. You have experience now on both sides. What was the lady you had on a couple times ago where she was talking, she had this white side of her family, but she still knows cornbread and this and that from the black side of her family.
Yeah.
To me, that's experience and that's wisdom. Yeah. And so I think I look at Kamala and like some of the things she says, I like the fact that she goes after Trump. I know his type. And that kind of a thing. If you got something to say it to my face.
That right there. Because that sounds like something coming from the black community too. By the way, if you got something to say it to my face. Yeah, that was powerful.
I really thought so. I absolutely loved it. But I also like how she's talking about the middle class and bringing the middle class back.
Trump talks about that too. Trump talks about the economy.
Yeah, Trump talks about that, but we were net negative under his presidency in manufacturing jobs. We're over 800,000 positive in manufacturing jobs under a Biden-Harris administration. I keep hearing them tag her as the border czar, and she was supposed to go down and find out what the root cause was. You know, that was her job. What happened to Alexander Mayorkas being in charge of all of that? Now all of a sudden Kamala was in charge of it.
Yeah, that's going to happen. Like Hillary Clinton got dinged on Benghazi, but when Obama was running in 2012, first they was hammering him with Benghazi. Once he survived, they used Benghazi on Hillary Clinton in 2016. So you're going to try to get as much mileage out of a scandal as you can.
Yeah, and you know, it's the thing. They say she lies. I have yet to hear them point out an actual lie of hers, you know, but you watch Trump just yesterday attacking her for not being black in front of a black journalist convention, you know, which, okay. I'm talking to a friend of mine at work. He's like, well, they started off with a really rude question. I'm like, what journalist is doing their job that's not a rude question? You know, I mean, that's what a journalist's job is to do, is to go, you said this, and this. What is your comment on it? Do you actually believe that? Yeah. You know, but and then saying that she didn't pass the bar. Hey, news for you. You can't become a district attorney. You can't become an attorney general without having passed the bar.
Yeah, that's it. That was, yeah, I don't know why he doesn't know, you know, he doesn't know that environment, the legal environment, because, yeah, that was easily researched. You can't just become, you know, you can't reach the upper echelon of law without passing the bar. But he doesn't know that, you know that area. So he probably figured that throwing something like that out there could have some effect. I mean, it makes no sense at all.
But a bunch of his supporters are going to say, no, she never passed the bar. She slept her way into that.
They've already said it. I've already heard it. Let me ask you though, in regards to, we mentioned whether or not, because I'm hearing so many people on the right say that abortion is not being banned. And by the way, Colin Radley on YouTube, thank you for the super chat, said abortion was turned back to the states, but Trump stated he stands behind the 3 exceptions: rape, incest, and the life of the mother. That's what abortion was intended for, not birth control. Has abortion been banned in your humble opinion, Kevin?
Yeah, I was just reading an article earlier today that they actually did a study, and there's been over 29,000 rape-related pregnancies that have been forced to carry to term in the last 18 months since Roe v. Wade passed in the state of Texas.
Wow.
That's just the state of Texas.
Wow.
You know, I mean, so you have to carry your rapist baby to term, or you have to figure out how to have the money to leave the state of Texas, but you got to do it in secret too, because watch out for their bounty law.
You think that's accurate? 26,000. I mean, is it that many women being assaulted to the point where they're impregnated in one state? Is it that bad? Kevin must have had a phone call. We'll give it a second. We're moving on. He must have had a phone call. But wow, 26,000 women. Because keep in mind, most assaults, well, I don't want to enter sensitive ground because I'm not a woman. I will admit I'm pleading ignorance here, but I'm guessing. I'll say I'm guessing. I would guess that most sexual assaults do not end in pregnancy. So 26,000 of them have in 18 months in one state. Wow, what are they doing down there in Texas? They don't have any extra sheep laying around? Damn. That's terrible if that is true. He said 29,000. Now, I did a video. I heard it was 26,000 my damn self. That's a lot. 18 months? That many assaults resulting in pregnancy? Then how many is the total number? Considering that most of them don't result in pregnancy, if I'm guessing right. That's insane. I'd have to see the evidence of it, because I mean, well, you're not going to see the evidence, but I'd have to see the source of that number, because that seems frighteningly high. If it is that high, the state of Texas has a rape problem, in my opinion. That's what that sounds like. You have a grape for the purpose of TikTok and YouTube. You have a grape problem. There's a lot of grapes growing in the state of Texas. That's crazy. Looking in the comments, and I see someone else says it's not far-fetched either. That's a lot. Are women being, man, like I said, I am a guy. I'm 6'6", 300 pounds. I do not know a damn thing about the area of being assaulted. So I'm not trying to come and push back, but it is concerning, for lack of a better term. That many women are being assaulted in that manner? 26,000 in one single state in only a year and a half? Damn, that is crazy. Let me go to the comments. It's Texas, red state. Any state where the number is that high should be concerned. That is a very, very high number in a short period of time. There's a lot of women who carry arms in Texas, so it doesn't make too much sense to me. Carrying guns don't mean a damn thing for this. You hear it before I go back to the box and tap the screen, get the likes up to about 70,000. Smash that like button on YouTube, 180. We can certainly make that happen. Let your thumbs not be lazy. Show the program some love on TikTok. Get it up to about 70,000. 180 on YouTube. We can certainly make that happen. One of the common phrases you hear from the Second Amendment community is an armed society is a polite society. My humble opinion, that is flat out false. Guns do not stop crime. It gives you the ability to defend yourself or whatever the case may be. It doesn't stop crime. Some of the most heavily armed places in this country and on earth are some of the most crime-ridden places to be. In fact, if you were to put on a graph, the safest countries on earth, the ones with the least amount of crime, most of them are unarmed. So I mean, in most of the most violent cities in America, there's guns everywhere. I mean, even in Texas, Houston, the city of Houston, there's tons of crime in Houston. Everybody got a gun in Texas. So I don't ever buy into the notion that you're a woman, you're carrying a firearm. That means, look, your assailant is likely to carry one too. If you live in a heavily armed populace, chances are most of the criminals are carrying as well. So I don't buy into that. Going back to the box, Finland, no guns, no murders. Yeah, Finland is very, very high standard of living. When I left the country myself, I moved to Australia, but I had three or four different picks. I was going to go to Vancouver, Canada, and I literally did it. I'm going to just get away, start over, and I literally made my choice based on countries with a high, happiness index or whatever. And I chose Australia because of the language, the same language that I speak. But Oslo, Norway was on my list as well. And it's right next to Finland. Those three countries, Sweden, Finland, and Norway, have a very high happiness index. I was considering that, and then I also considered Vancouver, Canada, but the weather led me to Australia. Let me go back to the box. Tap the screen, get the likes up. I said to about 70,000. You can certainly make that happen. Going back to the box, the one and only Gerald MC. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program, Gerald.
What's going on, handsome?
Not much at all. Good to have you on. Kamala Harris. Does her heritage make a difference to you at all when it comes to the time to vote?
Hell no. What is it with this skin color deal? Or where she her hair? It's about what's in her head, not what's on her outside skin. What does she think?
Then why is it coming up so much?
Well, I think you gotta have something to attack her on. So she wasn't really in charge of all the policies that the right is attacking her on. So they gotta find something. What are you gonna argue against? Because she doesn't have any of the policies that are in
well, there's some policies there. I mean, you're going to pull up a lot of things of the Biden administration. Certainly the border, she's going to get hammered on.
Yeah, I understand that. But I'm saying, the vice president's position, they don't really have a lot of authority to change things.
True.
They have to follow whatever the president does or the Senate or the House. They don't have a lot of power.
Let me give you this one. What about the notion that it took for everybody in the Democratic Party or even damn near Hollywood to come forward and say Biden needed to step down before she finally stopped saying the guy is in perfect mental health?
So, if you have a boss, you go out.
I already know where you're going with this.
Hey, my boss is a crackpot nut. He ain't worth a damn. He ain't gonna last another step. You think he's still gonna have you hired?
So what are you saying? She put her job above her patriotic duty?
Well, it wasn't. If there was nothing there, because I think it comes down to a lot of things that we do with the laws in this country and how litigious we are and all of these things.
I don't know. I believe he had a call.
Sorry, did I lose you?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, popped in. If there's no proof and that there was no doctor saying that he was incapable of doing it, then
come on, Gerald. Yeah, you starting to sound like a liberal. People can hear Biden losing his train of thought.
Wait. Let me back up and kind of explain what I'm trying to say.
All right, make it sound good. Hold up, before you do, Top Dog, thank you for that subscription. That did not go unnoticed. I appreciate the support. Thank you, folks that are showing the show some love. I do appreciate that, including you, Gerald. Now I want you to explain to me. We've seen the man fall down. We've seen the man actually fall up aircraft stairs. I don't know how people fall upstairs, but he actually done that. He's losing his train of thought every damn where. Tell me why she didn't tell us that.
We saw it.
Yeah.
She saw it.
Right.
I have no reason. I don't know what's in her mind, so I can't tell you why she didn't do it. I'm just speculating that, look, if the party says that's our guy, then she's going to pull the party line. Just like when Mitch McConnell did the thing with the Supreme Court justice. Yeah. Hey, you're not going to let me appoint a justice? No. Well, why are you going to do that? Because we can.
So in other words, Kamala Harris, it's safe to say, based on what you're saying, that Kamala Harris is a typical politician.
All of them are. I don't know an untypical politician. It's funny. You're talking about how they try to attack her and everything. It's funny about how much money did the RNC lose with all those ads they put together to personally attack Biden.
Yeah.
And now they had to trash them all because it's not him.
Yeah, that was, And some folks, it's interesting you bring that up because some folks are suggesting that as much as folks are saying that Biden is out of his mind, he actually planned that. This is what folks are suggesting, that Biden deliberately planned waiting to drop out until after the RNC so that the Republicans can use that entire RNC targeting the wrong guy. You think any legitimacy to that?
That'd make him a genius.
Yeah, it would make him a genius. It would. It would actually do that.
Competent, right? That would make him competent.
That would make him very competent.
This morning, I was watching the local news here. I'm in Nashville. And those guys were still running ads about Biden. The local politicians who were running, they're still running ads because they can't afford to go back and do them over again.
Well, but wait a minute though. Let's be clear. Even though Biden is not running, if you lean right, if you are a conservative and you're running against Kamala, you do realize she's probably going to give America at least 80 to 90% of the Biden policy. So if you're a conservative, you can point out Biden because Kamala's not going to fundamentally change the direction of this country too much for what Biden was doing.
So, but the way they put the ads are more personal.
Oh,
they're not policy driven. They're personal ads. He's got a corrupt son. He's got a this. He's got a this. It's like, okay, you just wasted all that money.
Yeah. So anything about Hunter Biden in regards to politics at this point is irrelevant. Not to mention, let me ask you this: do you believe Biden should pardon his son on the way out?
I would.
Yeah, I would too.
I use the same excuse that Mitch McConnell used when he went there, because I can. Let it rip.
Yeah, I think 99% of people, if they were in his position, would pardon their own kids too. So yeah, he certainly should do that. In fact, I would do it right now. You ain't got nothing to lose.
Yeah, I would. That's me. If my kid was in trouble and being overly charged, just like because I'm the president, they want to come down on me like a hammer. But then again, I say if you do the crime, you got to face the punishment that you could get, whether they give it to you or not. Same thing with Trump. He broke the law in New York, and they decided to prosecute him for it. Okay, if I jaywalked in New York and they wanted to prosecute me for it, guess what? I'm going to get prosecuted for it, but I put myself in that position. Some would agree with you. Others are saying that what happened with Trump, though, was a witch hunt. They just made all that up because they don't want him to run. Well, I don't agree with that. That it was a if it was a witch hunt, they found the witch because I mean
That is, folks. You know, it's crazy you say that because I had another woman come on here and say that, and it made perfect sense. Like you can't have a witch hunt without a witch.
exactly, exactly. You can't. And the same thing with Hunter Biden. He broke that law. He signed that document, so he opened himself up to that.
Yeah.
Okay. The prosecutor said he could have said no, not going to charge him, but he still has the option to say yes, I am, because you broke the law.
Fair enough. All right, before I move it on from you, I appreciate you coming through. Do you feel confident, though, that Kamala is up to the job? I mean, I get maybe you don't like Trump, but do you feel confident that Kamala can get the job done?
I think
that don't sound good starting out, but keep going.
Wait, no, I was coughing.
Yeah, that's what that was. Okay, all right. All right.
No, I think she can get the job done. It's all about the cabinet to me. It's all about the people you put around you. If you develop a good team around you, that's what's going to make you excel. The president, he has the figurehead and the responsibility for all of that action, but there's no way in hell he could run $1 trillion company, which is all the United States is, with just himself. He's got to have a good team around him. So if she's got a good team around her, yeah, she'll be fine.
All right. And as one man once said, she needs to surround herself with the best and brightest. Appreciate it, Gerald.
Yeah, brother.
Come on back there anytime. All right, moving the program on. Thank you, Gerald. Trump is the best president ever, says Ben Fields. Ever. Wow. Best president out of all 46, huh? The obvious pushback is what did Trump do to become the best president? I mean, we got folks who defeated Hitler, destroyed the Soviet Empire, talking about Ronald Reagan. We got folks that, you know, everything from curing polio. Best president ever. That's a hell of an accolade to get a President Trump. What has he done? And I see back row Becky says, you wish, creep. Wow. I don't know what Trump has done. Ended slavery, sent the man to the moon. What did Trump do? You know, saved us from civil war. What did Trump do to get the title of best president ever? I mean, he lowered gas prices by 20 cents. Wow, did we lower the bar to judge that? Let me go back to the box. Thank you, folks that are tapping the screen. We might be able to get up to about 90,000. I know it's a little bit to ask. We got over 900 of you in here, so we can certainly get somewhere in that range. Tap the screen. Let's go for 90,000. We can make that happen. By the way, I always ask that you tap the screen because it helps out the algorithm, helps out the FYP. The FYP is MAGA. That's generally what we're trying to bring because we do prefer speaking to MAGA, but liberals are welcome as well. So when I ask you to tap the screen or ask you on YouTube to get the likes up, that is the purpose of that. That is the purpose of it. So tap the screen, and on YouTube, feel free to smash that like button. Around 220, we can do that on YouTube for you folks that are asking, how do you call in real quick? All of your audio you're hearing, this is to my YouTube audience. You're hearing callers coming in on the TikTok side. I have yet to figure out how to make it work on YouTube. So all of the folks you're hearing call in, you're hearing them from TikTok. The handsome liberal on both pages. Trump is still making bad hiring decisions, says Run with Scissors. If there is one thing, one label you can definitely affix to Trump, that even, because MAGA's not a big fan of criticizing Trump. I get it. They believe he's, as somebody said, been the best president ever. But if there is one criticism you can stick on Trump that even MAGA often agrees with, is he is terrible at human resources. He does not know how to hire reliable, loyal, or good personnel at all. I think even MAGA would agree with that. Because even most folks on the right already are saying that J.D. Vance is not a good pick. They already are saying that. You know, MAGA is already saying that, you know, look, I like J.D. Vance, but he wasn't the best guy to get. I mean, certainly if it comes down to a Republican, I mean, better yet, if it comes down to a vice presidential debate, I don't see how J.D. Vance can win. I mean, they're going to bring up that he called Trump Adolf. You know, they're going to bring that stuff up. I mean, all of this cat lady shit come up. The fact that he said that if a woman has children, her children each should have a vote, and that vote should be given up to the parents. So let's say a mom has 5 kids. When she goes to vote, each one of her kids represents a vote plus her. So she'll get 6 votes at the ballot box. But the woman with no children only gets 1. This is actually what he said. Not me making it up and not from CNN or him. This is what he actually said. So you might actually have a case where a woman who is out there serving in combat, 19, 20-year-old woman that has no children, but if she's in the military, she gets 1 vote, and some other chick with no job and 5 kids is getting all these damn votes because he believes that women who have children should get a hierarchy. How do you win a debate when that kind of shit comes up? I don't know who Kamala's ultimately going to pick, but J.D. Vance got some really bad quotes out there, so I don't know how he could win a debate. And of course, he has to answer for why he referred to Trump as Adolf. I don't know. Let me go back to the box, and I see somebody says, yes, Vance is worse than Sarah Palin. Yeah? He wasn't vetted properly. That's what I stated before. Even if you favor Trump, even if you believe Trump has the right direction for America, he does not hire people very well at all. His hiring practices are bad. Poor Tim. Vivek couldn't get a DEI. Oh, poor Tim and Vivek couldn't get a DEI hire. Wow. You're suggesting that Trump should have picked Vivek Ramaswamy or Tim Scott. Going back to the box, Miss Mo Better. Another one of my subscribers. Good afternoon, Miss Mo Better. Appreciate you holding. And he loves couches so much. You know that couch idea? I mean, I'm a BBW lover. That sounds pretty soft, don't it? A nice plush couch. I mean, every now and then a man wants to sit down. Sometimes after a hard day's work, you want to lay down. You know, shout out to JD. He might have came up with a new invention for boredom. Interesting. I ain't said I'm going to try that shit. But I am curious. Anyhow, looking in the comments, Pence so good, he had to be hanged. Oh, my God. I'm trying to bring up Miss Mo Better. The box is problematic. I'll give it a moment to reset. Hi, can you notice me? Says Gabby Cockham. I can't pronounce your last name, but Gabby, consider yourself noticed. Keep crying, cuz you all don't like. Wait a minute. Keep crying, cuz you all don't like your orange boogeyman. All right. Fair enough. MTG, I don't know what Marjorie Taylor Greene means. Handsome looks like the Temu version of Shaquille O'Neal. Really? That might be a compliment. Do I look like the Temu? What about Sheen? What is the Temu competition? Sheen, Shein. Maybe let me go back to the box. I'm trying to bring up guests, but it is problematic. The Temu version of Shaquille O'Neal. Now he's 7'3". What is he, 7'1" or 7'3"? I'm only 6'6", so not quite. Going back to the box. Continuing on with Big Trig. Good afternoon, Big Trig. Ain't nothing wrong with Temu. I don't know about that. I bought some clothing off Temu. That shit does not fit to size. I'm a 3XLT. I've been the same size in clothing for about 25 years. I haven't gained or lost. But I bought some Temu shit and it didn't fit right. So I'm not a fan of Temu. Big Trig.
Hey, ship it back, Tim. Ship it back.
I thought about it. I just put it in the Goodwill box, but it was $100 worth of shirts. I just put it in Goodwill. Yeah, it was brand new though. So what do you think? Kamala Harris, does her heritage matter come election day?
Of course not, Tim. You know what? Sometimes you just resort to name calling when you ain't got nothing else to say. Yeah, I've done it myself before where I've been like somebody that outsmarted me and I'm just like, your mama. And that's all I got left. Right.
Well, I will give you credit though. I will give Trump credit. Name calling has been incredibly successful for him. It has.
Yeah. It has. I do have to give him the benefit of the doubt for that because it has worked out in his favor on many occasions. But I mean, let's think about it though, Tim. Whether she Indian, African American, Polish, right? Who cares? If the woman is making moves in the right direction for this country, then we should support her 100%.
But they don't believe she's made moves. They believe she doesn't know what the hell she's doing.
Well, I'm quite sure they don't, because they can't figure her out yet. They scrambling right now. People in the back room trying to do everything they need to do. You know, the Wizard of Oz, he back there trying to pull levers right now to see what works. So my thing on this is, look at this. Let's just take small things in portions. You look at the border right now. Trump is his same old cry out. The border, they coming across in masses. You know what, Tim? Right now in July, the border may be probably going to be at its lowest since the summer before COVID, 2020.
Well, I'll respond. Now, I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't know the actual numbers. I can't agree or disagree with you, but I'll say this. It's too late. I mean, a lot of folks are going to suggest that he's only gotten this under control because the election is coming and he fears accountability. It's too late.
And you know what, Tim? I agree with you. It may be in the people that have their minds made up who don't really want the border fixed, it's too late. But the border is being fixed, whether it's at the end or at the beginning.
Yeah, but what about all the millions? Trump is claiming, now I'm sure this is exaggerated, but Trump is claiming there's 18 million of these folks who came in the country already.
Oh, man, you know what? I was looking down the street the other day, right? They're building a lot of houses over here where I'm at in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. I mean, if things were so bad, they wouldn't be building so many of these houses, and they're selling like wildflowers right now. But I'm looking out there, right? And I'm going to say, Tim, the black guys are gone. There's a lot of immigrants out there building houses because I think they took all the black jobs. I joke about it.
Ain't no Negroes building houses. That's a Hispanic job if I ever heard one. Ain't no Negroes on no roof.
Exactly. I agree with you, Tim. Hear what I'm saying. It overinflate the numbers because what you want to do is you want to get your base to believe what they're hearing. What's coming out of my mouth is what you need to hear, whether you see it differently or not. Don't mind the man behind the curtain. Listen to me. I'm telling you what you need to hear. What he's doing right now is selling you a bag of goods.
Damn.
He tell a lot of MAGA individuals, you're better than the lowest scum that's coming across the border.
Ooh.
You're better than them, right? And they're allowing them to come across the border and take things from you. And people believe it.
Yeah, I gotta say, if there is one complaint that you routinely hear from MAGA, it is that illegal immigrants are coming in this country. They're invading. They're, murdering the R word. They're portrayed as if they are really, really tearing this country up from the inside out. I mean, you would think there would be illegal immigrants everywhere you go.
Exactly. But we don't see that, Jim. I mean, maybe it's the news I'm watching. Maybe they just ain't caught up yet. But maybe if when I get off work, they must stop, right? Because I don't hear nothing about them tearing up the world when I get off work, right? But now,
where are you at, though? It could be where you're located. What part of the country are you in?
I'll tell you, I'm in North Carolina, Tim. I'm in Fayetteville, North Carolina, right? And I'm just gonna say I just don't see the world on fire from illegal aliens, right? I just don't see it. And what now?
And I would submit to you that most Americans are just like you. I mean, there's a few spots. Obviously, what Governor Abbott and Ron DeSantis did to Chicago and New York. There's a ton of them there. They're coming in through Texas, maybe Arizona, New Mexico, and California. But outside of that, most places in this country are not, immigrants are not just laying all around, tearing up the landscape like they're portraying it.
Exactly. Like I said, you have to give people, the best way to get people to follow you is they got to follow someone who shows, first of all, strength, right? But then he has to get you to be fearful of what's out there.
No, it's working. Right. It's working.
If I make them fearful, they'll follow me to the promised land, right? And I think that's where we're at. Right now, we're at a point in time where we need to be talking about the topics that matter to the American people. We don't do that anymore in most cases. We're down to name calling. Come on, let's stay on topic. Let's talk about what's best for both Republicans and Democrats. Liberals, everybody involved. No one wants to do that because they're fearful that if they lay down their what they got planned for the world, right, that people wouldn't trust them or wouldn't like what they're saying, and so they would fall off. So what do they resort back to? Fear. I want you to fear the things that's happening in this world.
So
right?
If you do believe fear has its value in politics, is it safe? Is it okay if I sing you a red hat? Can we go ahead and chalk you up, MAGA?
Well, you see, but here's the thing, Tim. I'm not scared. You have to be fearful because you know what? Some people just want to be led.
Wow. You're not saying that MAGA. You're not saying that MAGA just wants to be led. That sounds like cheap.
I'm not saying the Republican Party, but those people, a lot of deep people in MAGA believe that what they believe because their lives hasn't changed in the rural mountains of Kentucky. Your life hasn't changed in 20 years, I guarantee you, and you done been through multiple presidents, Democrat, Republican. But guess what? He's saying something that you in your heart feel, right? Yeah. And when you feel that way, he's saying exactly, because he's not relating to you. He's just playing on those things that you feel in your heart.
He's tugging at, in other words, tugging at your heartstrings.
Exactly, because if you talk about it, and then I'm not saying all, but you can go to certain people, certain MAGA individuals, and you can talk to them, and you can say, well, tell me what's the reason you believe in what he's doing. The first thing they'll go back to is, he's just right for us because he tells the truth. And, let's be honest. We done see, fact checks on both sides. They lie. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Now, you go back and then if you press them on it, the border, doesn't secure the border. They're coming across the border. I seen 200,000 come across just last night. And those are things that they resort back to.
200,000 just last night, huh?
Look, well, hey, if we talking millions, if we talking as many millions as he's saying, they got to be coming in drones.
It would have to be. Yeah, it would have to be high numbers.
Exactly. You know what? My thought process is this: if we just sit back, open our eyes, do the research, right? Look at what's important to you and what makes things right for you and your family, right? Vote then by having knowledge. Don't vote because you're just following blindly behind something, right? I think there's a lot of good things that can be accomplished, and history will tell us these elections over these last few years will go down in history as defining moments in American history.
I absolutely agree with that. I do agree with the big trick. I do got to move it on, but I agree with you that history is going to judge this period of time like no other. I certainly agree with that. Thank you.
Exactly. So, my brother, I appreciate you allowing me to come on again. You have a wonderful day and keep pushing, Tim. You're doing great things.
Thank you. Appreciate the sentiment. Appreciate it. Always invited back. Going back to the box. By the way, tap the screen. We're really close to 100,000. Maybe I'll ask for 110. You guys can make that happen. Thank you for all the participation on TikTok and my YouTube audience as well. Wanted to respond to a few super chats that I was going to get to. Gen X, Gen X says, man got a shirt from Temu, fits like a scuba top. That is a great description of how that Temu shirt fit. I got a 3X that felt like a XL, so I had to get rid of that shit. It would have been embarrassing. Titties everywhere. Should all illegals explain the grapes in Texas? You really believe 26,000 alleged grapes in Texas, and you're telling me it's just all illegal immigrants, huh? That's what my last guest was talking about, how fear can get all kinds of things, get people all roused up. It's not, you would hear from Governor Abbott of Texas, who is certainly anti-illegal immigrant. If all of these folks are being assaulted by immigrants, you would have heard that. That's not what's happening. But Gen X, nice try. Colin Ratley says, how many of those were illegal? I don't know, because I would say this. When it comes to the right, if you're not an American citizen, or if you don't already have residency and a green card, if you're an American and you don't have those two, they chalk up damn near everything else as an illegal immigrant. Even the folks that are coming over here that have asylum cases are being chalked up by the right as illegal immigrants. They're not here illegally. The ones that Governor Greg Abbott of Texas bust up to Chicago, they had asylum cases. They're not illegals, even though they're calling them that. So that's why Trump's whole 18 million illegals, no, it ain't. Most of them folks are asylum seekers. Now, I don't believe they have a case or a chance in hell to stay, but our law allows you to come to the border and seek asylum. And there's a certain period of time you get a hearing and they determine whether you can stay or not. But until that decision is made, you're not here illegally. And the right is chalking all of those folks up as illegal. So that's where the difference is. Vance is gone right after the convention. After the Democratic, this is Twain and Square. By way of yes or no, that's an interesting point to be made. By way of yes or no in the comments, just type yes or no. How many of you folks believe that there is a really good chance that Trump is going to get rid of J.D. Vance? Or that is likely to happen? By way of yes or no in the comments. Now, obviously, MAGA can respond to this as well. By way of yes or no in the comments, how many of you believe that? Somebody said, I hope so. I'd be curious to know, Stefano, you said you hope so. I'd be curious to know, are you left or right? Because as I stated in the beginning of the broadcast, I don't think Vance has done anything positive for the Trump campaign. Up to and including, you want to increase the votes. Let's say, for instance, Kamala goes with the governor of Pennsylvania or the astronaut guy down in Arizona who's a senator down there. Well, Pennsylvania's a swing state. So if you get the governor, the people of that state's likely to follow you, win a swing state. Same thing with Arizona. That individual, that the astronaut guy down there, I can't think of his name for some reason, but he's Gabbard, the woman that got shot, he's her husband. Widely favored in Arizona. So if Arizona goes to Kamala, that's a swing state. What does J.D. Vance bring to Trump? He's from Ohio. Trump was going to win Ohio anyway. Gabby Gifford is the wife. Yeah, that's who. And Mark Kelly. Mark Kelly's the astronaut guy in Arizona. Yeah, what does J.D. Vance bring to Trump? Trump already has the evangelicals on lock. They're not going to vote for the pro-abortion liberals. They're going to vote for Trump no matter who the hell he picks. Trump has Ohio on lock. He don't need J.D. Vance to win Ohio. So the question is, what has J.D. Vance brought to the Trump campaign other than a lot of comments that are hurting him with women? All of these women are now wearing this shit about, what is it called? Cat ladies for Kamala. That's not because of Trump. That's because of J.D. Vance. He's energizing the women against Trump. So what has J.D. Vance did for President Trump? So the idea that Trump is going to get rid of Vance after the convention, that's why I asked you folks that. Looking in the comments, Tim, third world countries do swap prisoners. What does they got to do with what we're talking about? He brings a new generation to politics, says Marty Whitman. You think J.D. Vance? You say J.D. Vance is bringing it. You think the young folks, the women that actually are fertile, you think they're going to vote for Are you serious? J.D. Vance brings a new generation to politics. Really? You think that J.D. Vance is going to be scoring the under 30 vote? Wow. I don't know where, listen, maybe you're right. I think you're completely wrong. I'll leave it at that. Tap the screen. Wow, the young vote, J.D. Vance. The guy who's suggesting that, he's pro-children. How many young girls that young want people to basically be telling them to stay in their lane? I want you to have kids and things. No, J.D. Vance, young vote. That's interesting. J.D. Vance is probably a deep state plant. Says Angela, what did I say? Ramirez, I don't know what the first name is. Let me go back to the box. J.D. Vance bringing in a young vote. That's a first. Trump is old enough that Vance could be our president by default, and that's terrifying. Says says UDK my life or something like that. That is interesting, and that is factual. That with Trump being 78 right now, being that if Trump is elected in November, he will be the oldest president ever elected in U.S. history. He is older than Biden was when Biden got the victory in 2020. Trump is older than that. So to have Trump on stage yesterday at that black convention stating that the vice presidential pick does not matter, for a 78-year-old man to be suggesting that my vice presidential pick doesn't matter, to some degree, makes Trump almost look like he's out of touch. Fuzzard, thank you for the subscription. Thank you very much, Fuzzard. X3. I mean, you're 78. Just like Biden's falling down all over the damn place, a lot of folks that are in Trump's age category can be perfectly healthy, active, and normal, and literally go downhill and die for one fall. I mean, I think a lot of us have had relatives, things like that are way up in the elderly years. You know, ever since that fall, they were never the same, and they, you know, passed away soon. I mean, that happens. 78. He's outlived the average lifespan for a white male right now. He's already outlived it. And he's like, well, my vice presidential pick don't matter? That's crazy. Going back to the box, Monte, one of my subscribers, good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Trump is not mentally sharp, says Potowski. I think that says. Not mentally sharp. A lot of MAGA believes he is, Potowski. Doesn't matter because the comment moved too fast. I wanted to read it. Give the box a moment to reset. Thank you folks for tapping the screen. 120,000. Let's go. Let's go. Tap the screen. Get the likes up. 120. You guys have been great today. Could be anywhere you want to be this warm Thursday afternoon. Always appreciate having you here with me. By the way, for any folks who are tuning in for the first time, this is uncensored programming. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. You don't have to agree with anyone in the comment section while you're talking. And when you come up, you certainly don't have to agree with the host. That's how free speech works. You're going to hear opinions you favor, opinions you don't. We go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with QAnon. Everybody gets to speak. That's how we do it. Been that way for 3 years, about 3 years. All right, we'll try it again with the box. My last guest did not come up. We'll try with Uncle Lucas. Good afternoon, Uncle Lucas. Vote Blue, says Ron Malloy on YouTube. Uncle Lucas, good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing? You caught me while I was driving.
Oh, shit. You okay? I will give you a second. If a major... I'm doing good. Good to have you on. So what do you think? You think Kamala's heritage makes a difference when it comes time to vote?
Hey, I was going to say, look, she's black. She's invited to the cookout. She could bring curry goat, Jamaican style or Indian style. It don't matter.
So she is accepted in the black community.
Oh, yeah. I mean, black folks, especially in America, we understand that our ethnicity here is crazy. We all got Caucasian in us. We got little Indian in our family. So black folks here in America, we got light-skinned relatives. We got dark-skinned relatives. We understand that.
So why do you...
White people understand that.
So, yeah, I was about to ask. So why do you believe her race keeps coming up?
Well, and you know, it's crazy because a lot of your MAGA callers, they keep saying that the liberals are bringing it up, that Kamala's bringing it up, but Trump is the one that's bringing it up. I mean, if you saw that interview, he's the reporter, she kind of alluded to why are you attacking her on race, but he's the one who said, I don't know if she's black. So he could have softballed that question and, you know, and just, you know, flubbed it like he flubs other things. But the thing is that us as black folks, we understand multiracial ethnicity. We understand we got family in our history who can pass. It was interesting because I was watching one attack ad on Kamala, and they were talking about her great-great-grandfather who was Irish, who hated black people, but they don't talk about her great-great-grandmother, right?
Right.
And they don't talk about that probably her great-great-grandfather, her great-great-grandmother. And that's
why the hell does any of that matter?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But and you know what? I love it that I think the GOP, they don't know which angle to attack her on.
So they're trying anything. They're throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. And so far, none of it sticks. I forgot the other guy who was a part of Trump's entourage. He's like Grossritz or something like that. But he was talking about that she was a DEI hire, and all the reason she got hired is because she has a vagina and she's the right ethnicity. It's terrible. And I love it because at the end of the day, they're going to alienate enough people in Georgia, which is the key state, right? That's in the Atlanta
it's a swing.
suburbs.
Yeah, it's one of them. Yeah, it's one of them.
County. And that's, well, I think Georgia, I think for Trump, Georgia is a key state. So Kamala has multiple paths to the White House. But if they take Georgia out of play for Trump, he doesn't have a path to the White House. He needs Georgia. So it's a key state for Trump to win. And if they lose enough black support in Atlanta, especially because you've been to Atlanta, you know Atlanta's Wakanda, right? Atlanta is a majority black city, and if they lose that support, that's and it's crazy because that's the key is Georgia, and I don't understand. Trump should fire whoever put him on that news panel.
That's interesting. Because I don't know. Well, I give Trump credit for at least being willing to go in a African American forum, even though he knew it was going to be the Lion's Den. He walked out there and they were already booing him. So does he not get credit for at least showing up and being willing to do that?
Well, you can show up, but then when you show up, he's basically complaining that they don't CP time. he's complaining, why you ninjas so late? And why is your equipment so ghetto?
Well, but he is, come on now, he is a presidential contender. The fact that they made him wait a half hour and he actually was willing to do it, I think he deserved credit for that.
You say that behind the scenes. You go talk to the producer and you say, hey, look, I was a former president. Come on now, don't make me wait. Or you have one of your people go and complain about it. You don't do that as a former president, and you definitely don't do that live where everybody can see it, right? Yeah. You know that you can. So like if you're the boss, you can complain about certain things, but you're not going to complain directly to your employees. Or like in a forum, like a conference, like if one of your employees is messing up, you're not going to complain about that employee to everybody. You're going to take them aside and you're going to say, hey, look, my time is valuable. Don't mess up again.
Yeah. But we are talking about Trump.
In front of everybody, that's tactless.
We are talking about Trump, though.
Yeah, I know. We're talking about Trump. But the problem is that his MAGA base, they eat it all up. Yeah. They don't care, man. No matter what he does. If he unalived a kid on Fifth Avenue, it must have been a Democrat. If they don't care, it must have been a dirty liberal kid, and it don't matter. And that's the problem is they don't realize he has to reach out to more people if he's going to win this election. Because we all know he's going to lose the popular vote. He has to win the electoral college.
I don't see him winning the popular vote, but he still could win the whole thing. I got to move it on Uncle Lucas. He still could do it, though. We'll see.
No, I'm not saying never. Hey, look, I know he can do it. Trump has pulled hats out of hats all the time. So, hey, he could be president again, and then I'll have to get my Trump Jesus hat and put it on so I don't get sent to the gulags. So,
Oh, my God. All right, I got to go. Appreciate it, Uncle Lucas. Moving the program on, Kamala and thank you for the underwater display decal. Thank you. Appreciate that. Very nice. Decal, always thank you. If what was it? Kamala is only on that ticket due to her white lawyer husband. Save Man, Woman, Peace says Kamala is only on the ticket due to her white lawyer husband. I want you folks to think of comments like that when we keep asking this question over and over again. Does her race matter come election day? There are no shortage of people bringing it up. Now someone is in the comments saying that even her husband's race makes a difference. So I want to point that out to you. Not to mention all the folks suggesting that she only got the job because of her gender and race. Just want to point it out. It's not that the liberals are just making it up out of thin air. People are saying it. Bringing up my subscriber, Dencal. Good afternoon. It doesn't matter, so just let it go. Well, the right is not letting it go. Trump just stated yesterday that she might be a DEI hire. Trump himself could easily say, look, I'm all about the policies. Her and Biden failed to lead this country. I don't give a damn what her race is. She's doing a bad job. That's the end of that. But he keeps entertaining it. Is that vacay?
It is.
Hey,
how are you today?
Good to have you on. So what do you think? Does Kamala's heritage matter to you when it's time to vote?
Not a dang bit. I got to tell you, her equipment, her heritage has nothing to do with the way that I vote. I'll tell you the way that I vote. As a middle-aged white lady living in a very red state. Yeah, I know, right? Central Florida represent.
Oh,
like the good
so I'm assuming you were a big Ron DeSantis fan?
I'd rather eat glass, but that's
damn.
Another story.
Okay, maybe not. All right, so
not a fan of men who wear shoes taller than my own. I can't.
You'd rather eat glass. Wow. So
yeah, Kamala, for me, it's very important to me for a couple of reasons, and why she has my vote.
Okay.
First off, she's a big supporter of the Gun Violence Prevention Act. 2 people that I went to elementary school through being an adult with were killed random and senselessly. One by their partner with a gun. The other was a random shooting at point blank range on the side of the road.
So what type of gun legislation are you hoping for? You're in Florida, by the way.
I know.
Jesus.
I had a random man come into my apartment yesterday that was not invited. So I have a gun. I am for guns. I am pro-gun. I'm also pro-gun education.
Okay.
I'm for gun responsibility.
You want gun education to be mandatory as a condition on the weapon? Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Honestly, I think that we really should do a lot better job with mental health evaluations prior to selling weapons.
Yeah.
You know, I know we have background checks, but that doesn't catch everything.
No.
Maybe part of that education is a quick mental health screening. It doesn't take that long.
Now I'm going to assume. Now we had a show a few weeks ago, I believe. In fact, on July 4th, Independence Day, in the state of Louisiana. As of that day, a new law was put into effect that as of the age of, I believe, 18, you could carry concealed, as you mentioned, education. No education required, no permit required. All you needed to be was 18 years of age as of now. And that's the law in Louisiana now. From 18 on, you can carry open, carry concealed, whatever you want. You just need to have your 18th birthday. I'm going to assume you don't support that?
Not a fan of that. Not a fan of that at all. That's terrifying, to be completely honest with you.
Would you prefer the legal age of obtaining a firearm be raised?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
You know, we have 18-year-olds going into the military and they have guns.
They're trained. Yeah, they have heavy
and they are trained. And
yeah.
Exactly. They're educated, they're evaluated, and therefore a lot more responsible. Now, do I think we should also give more resources to people coming back from overseas who have seen combat? Yeah, absolutely.
Now, is it safe to say, based on our conversation, you are considered a Democrat, or are you a left-leaning independent?
I have always registered as an independent.
Okay.
But Florida has closed primaries. So I am registered as a Republican in the state of Florida.
Aren't you slick? So you trying to fuck up their races?
I mean, that's just a bonus.
Oh my God. Okay, I ain't hating on it. So, because in the comments, I seen someone, JG on YouTube, stated that you can't be pro Second Amendment and a Democrat simultaneously. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. Clearly, I have a weapon. I have a concealed permit, and I have for the better part of the last 15 years.
Yeah. No. I will agree with you because I also carry. I think that the right, when they say you can't be Democrat and you can't be Democrat and pro Second Amendment, they believe the Second Amendment from a shall not be infringed upon standpoint, where a lot of Democrats are like, you should be able to defend your family, but you shouldn't be able to get your hands on a rocket launcher. So I think difference in how both parties view the Second Amendment.
So the Second Amendment also says that the right to a militia, a well-regulated militia, shall not be infringed upon.
Yeah.
You can't take Part A and not take Part B as well, right?
Yeah. Well, it's the interpretation, though. The right has a different interpretation of it.
Yeah, just like the Bible. And you can interpret it 100 different ways.
Yeah.
There's no right answer. I think the only right answer is don't be a dick. Maybe we should all try that for once, right?
Yeah. So let me ask you this now, because you obviously lean left. Do you feel confident that Kamala is up to the job? I mean, as VP, you think she can be propelled to president? You think she can get the job done?
I think she can get the job done with the right cabinet.
Best and brightest.
With the right people behind her, I think, best of the best. Vet it out. Don't just hire people because they're your family or your friends or because they...
Now, who would have ever done something like that?
I don't know, people who really have a need to have their ego stroked, probably.
Oh my God. Okay. So what do you really, let's say for instance, you don't get Kamala as your wish, and let's say Trump does get reelected. What are your biggest concerns?
My biggest concerns are education. First and foremost, I do not have kids. I am one of those childless cat ladies. That doesn't affect me. I think it's a riot. But I have young nieces. Look, my siblings had enough kids, right? We don't need any more. We're good in my family, right?
All right.
But I do care about them. And more than that, I don't like living around stupid people. So I would like to be pro-education. Let's be fair. Do you like having really dumb neighbors who do stupid crap?
No, but what I need you to elaborate. What makes you suggest that Trump is not pro-education?
He said he wanted to eliminate the Department of Education.
Yeah, but they're going to replace it with something. You might not like what they replace it with, but they're going to replace it with something. It's going to be something that is pro-right. Maybe they don't want CRT and LGBT issues. They're going to replace it with maybe some biblical teachers, but it will be replaced with something.
Well, if they replace it with biblical teachers, they're going directly against the separation of church and state, aren't they?
I think they've already began that. So, but
a long time ago. You're not wrong. Yeah. You're not wrong.
What else concerns you of a future Trump administration?
Abortion rights. I got to be honest with you. As a woman who is still of that age, it's important to me. Now, would I personally choose to have an abortion? No. Dire circumstances. But I don't want to make that decision for someone else. I don't want to make that decision for your daughter. I don't want to make that decision for my nieces.
So how do you respond? How do you respond to many folks on the right that suggest Trump is not banning abortion; he's just giving it back to the states?
You know which states are going to ban it, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people, and especially those who maybe don't have the means to relocate to another state, are going to be affected by that.
Yeah, I will say, because you're in the Sunshine State. If you're down in Naples or Miami somewhere and you want to terminate a pregnancy, you got a long way to drive. I don't like, where's the nearest place to Miami that you could have an abortion? You're gonna go way up north. You may be in a different time zone. I guess you go up to Virginia. Maybe you're gonna travel.
Yeah, you're taking at least a 2.5-hour flight.
Yeah, you gotta have the money for that. And you mentioned, folks mentioned the time off work, and Little to the Left Trucker, thank you for that subscription. So you believe in, because you're hearing women's rights all the time. Do you believe any other rights for women are in jeopardy if Trump gets reelected? With J.D. Vance, of course. That's his running mate.
Joke.
That is his running mate.
You know, that's probably the most important to me, is the right to women's health care, to be completely honest with you. Yeah. I do listen, I do pay attention. I think there are some good things that he says, but I think they're really peppered in with a lot of nonsense and a lot of things that I don't agree with. There are things that Kamala says that I don't agree with as well, right? Don't get it twisted that I'm a diehard Kamala fan.
What did you think of Biden? We're coming up to the conclusion of his term. Do you think he did a good job?
I think he did better than a lot of people give him credit for.
What about Trump?
I do.
What about Trump's first 4 years? I hear a sigh.
I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, okay.
I just think there's no place for the name calling and just the childish rhetoric. It just doesn't have a place in politics. We're supposed to be civilized, right? We're the greatest country in the world.
Yeah. Well,
why we got to act like it's elementary school? There's no need for it.
Fair enough. Now, Vicky, this is the first time talking. I do got to move it on, but first time talking?
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it. Good conversation. Anytime. Come on back. I'm
going to be honest. Your red hat usually makes me scroll on past, but I'm glad I stayed today.
Thank you. I usually get called an Uncle Tom or a sellout. I'm glad you stayed.
Oh, thanks. No problem. Can I touch one more thing, which was the abortions in Texas?
Sure.
Because you had asked how many grapes there were in Texas. It was 519,000 plus in the last 18 months. 64,000 plus resulted in pregnancies, and 26,000 of those.
What is the source of that? Wow.
I got the numbers from the Houston Chronicle, but it's easily available online.
Jesus. All right. Okay. I want to look that up. All right. I got to move on. That's depressing. God, dog, that's depressing. I mean, it is really man. All right. Okay. Come on back anytime. I don't even know what to say to that, but yeah, anytime, come back through.
Yeah, my pleasure. Have a great day.
You too. God, really? Is it that bad? I mean, I hear a lot of women talking about how they fear, being assaulted and things like that. And as a man, I'm not going to deny I could perhaps be insensitive to the topic sometimes, because as a guy, it's something we generally don't have to worry about. As long as you don't find yourself incarcerated as a man, you generally don't have to worry about it. It happens a little bit. You go into clubs, I used to be a bouncer, and drunk women will assault your ass. I've been touched and grabbed by drunk women, but other than that, men generally don't have to worry about it. But damn, those numbers are bad. Wow. Crazy. All right, let me go back to, that is astonishing. I would not have believed that. I would not have believed that normally, but in fact, I want to look it up. That is incredible. 18 months. That's not like a decade or two. That's a year and a half. Those numbers are that high. Wow. Going back to the box, Second Amendment is available for you progressive women. I don't know, because at the end of the day, just like when it comes to educators being allowed to carry firearms, they're trying to put guns in schools for teachers to protect the students and things like that. Even with a society that allows its citizens to carry firearms, understand everybody is not meant to take a life. Even if everybody is allowed to carry firearms, some people just do not want that responsibility on them. Everybody's not, just like in the military, everybody ain't designed to go and take somebody's life. How many of you may have been old enough to have seen the movie Saving Private Ryan? I think most of us have seen that, particularly my male audience, where there's a scene where a guy is literally in a stairwell. I think he got a belt-fed 50 caliber weapon around his neck, and his friends are in the room getting stabbed to death. And he is so afraid of this stuff that he does not go in there and save his own friend. I mean, everybody's not designed to take a life. You can't just hand out firearms and expect everybody to just automatically defend themselves. Everybody don't want to go that route. So the idea that if you just, progressive women go out and get a gun, there are people who have drew down on an assailant and had that person literally take the weapon from them because they were hesitant to use it. It takes a certain mindset to take someone's life, even if it's 100% justified, which is why a lot of issues we have, and I'm getting off topic, but I'll go back to the box shortly, and I will ask that you tap the screen, get the likes up to 140,000. A lot of folks suggest that we have a lot of incidents with various police departments because so many folks serving on our nation's law enforcement professions have come straight out of combat. There's a lot of cops out there with combat experience. And obviously anybody that served in combat probably is capable of taking a life. And then you release those type of people onto the public, and yeah, the first sign of trouble, they take it all the way up to the highest level. Maybe you need some people that are a little bit more hesitant, but taking a life requires a certain mindset. Every woman that's being assaulted is not going to be able to do that. Not to mention, before we move on, if you ever do have to take a life, you got to really be certain the police are going to understand that you had to do it. We got to all assume there's a hell of a lot of folks that took a life that are behind bars because the police did not believe it was self-defense. You got to take all that in consideration. It's not just, people say, I'd rather, be, judged by 12 than carried by 6. Yeah, but that 12 may lock your ass up for the rest of your life. That ain't a great place to be either. Yeah, I'm alive, but I'll never get out of here. That's not a great place to be. That's not something to have bragging rights about. So you do have to take that in consideration. Just carrying a firearm doesn't entitle you to any victory, any great outcome, or anything like that. People who are armed, legal, law-abiding gun owners get shot and killed every damn day. Having a gun doesn't guarantee you're going to win a gunfight. Doesn't guarantee criminals are not going to come after you. Hell, people try to disarm cops. It doesn't entitle you to a damn thing, but a hope, maybe a little bit more hope that you'll be able to defend yourself. But it doesn't guarantee that's going to happen. Looking in the comments, though, tap the screen, by the way. Get the likes up to about 140,000. You guys have been great. Going back to the box, the one and only Den Cow. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Minnesota, you gave to first try. You got a first try and flee in Minnesota. Florida is a stand your ground state. I'm not a big fan of stand your ground for the simple fact is there are a lot of fuck around and find out types. In the hood, we refer to it as I wish a motherfucker would. They both mean the same damn thing. They both mean that someone is wanting to bestow violence on someone, but they're hoping that somebody gives them a reason. Stand your ground is a breeding place for fuck around and find out and I wish a motherfucker would type people. Because that's all they need is a reason. And you're in a state that says if you got a reason, have at it. Den Cow, good afternoon.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much at all. Kamala Harris, does her race, her heritage matter at all?
Well, before we get into that, I want to start out with the big shout out to the big old homie, Joe, for getting those 4 hostages.
Yes, I started to talk about that. That is awesome.
The senile guy who can't string together 2 words has struck an agreement with multi countries to get our 4 most important hostages out of Russia. And I'm not sure how he did it when he was in his basement and he was unable to speak, but him and the Harris ticket got it done.
Let me give you the right wing spin on that though. You got to take the folks that were traded for the ones we got free and point out how much crime, what their criminal histories was. You got all these people free, but you got them free for a serial killer. Something like that is how the right is probably. If you watch Hannity or if you watch Laura Ingraham tonight on Fox, I guarantee they're going to be pointing out how horrible the individuals that we traded to get those people free are. Guaranteed. Like with Brittany Griner. When Brittany Griner got free, the entire focus was on how bad the other people were that got traded for her.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they're going to have their talking points, but that doesn't get rid of the fact that he's brought home over 70 prisoners during his 4 years in office. Yep. And hostage negotiation is a difficult business. Yep. It's all kinds of international things that go on with these types of trades and making them happen. So look, they can say all they want to. Every time you make a trade with another country, you're making a trade for bad people.
Yeah. There's no other way around it. Yeah, there's no other way around it.
If you ask them about this reporter that just got released in Russia, they would say this guy was a top secret spy agent. Yep. He was responsible for Russian deaths, and so yeah, we look. Everybody's gonna have their spin, but the fact is, they complain about him not getting these people back. He has made it happen, even though Trump said that he said that he wanted to get them out when he took office. He wanted Russia not to make any negotiations with us, but I believe that after he saw Biden step down and possibly that Kamala might get in, Putin had to make a calculation of whether he wanted to try and wait for Trump to get in, or whether he was going to go ahead and do something and get the most out of it that he could.
Yeah. Did he get Paul Whelan free? Because when Griner came home, people were saying, instead of bringing her home, you should have got Paul Whelan home. I think Whelan came home in this batch, has he not?
Exactly. Yeah. They wanted more for him than they wanted for Griner. That's why Griner came home first.
Yeah.
It's not up to us to just say, no, we don't want her, we want him. It's intense negotiations with all kinds of factors that go into it.
Yeah, and I like how Biden, when he gave his speech on this, or his statement, he stated that it's nice to have friends and allies, because it's clear, well, I think they did the trade in Turkey, and there were other people behind the scenes in the deal, and he stated it, because obviously that was a dig at Trump, because Trump is talking about, breaking up NATO and things like that, and Trump has been friendly to the dictator of Hungary, Putin and Kim Jong-un and Xi Jinping and all. And that's what he was saying. That was a dig at Trump when he said it's nice to have friends.
Exactly, because one of the people, one or more of the people that Russia wanted back were actually in jail in different countries.
Yeah.
But they got us to negotiate through our negotiations to do a multi-international type deal that brought these Americans home, and they gonna spend it tonight. They gonna spend it. But I just saw, the people on Fox News right now with, the regular real news, they're saying, wow.
Yeah, they gonna spend the shit out of it. I always watch the 5 on Fox right after I end my broadcast here, because it comes on in 30 minutes. I usually go straight to the 5, and 5, it's 4 Republicans, and sometimes there's a liberal. Sometimes even a 5th guy is also a conservative. But yeah, I'm expecting that to happen. They're going to be really pointing out how bad the people were that we sent back to Russia. I'm sure they're going to be doing that.
They're already doing it. I seen a little bit of information. A couple of them were convicted of like cyber crimes, hacking and stuff like that. I think one of them was maybe a spy or something like that. But they're going to spin it. Yeah. They're going to make those people out to be the worst people in the world. And from their inference, they're going to say, we should have left our people there.
And you got to give Biden a little bit of a shout out, because at this point, he ain't got nothing to lose. His career is over with. He really could just ride the coattails of Father Time at this point. I mean, he's on his way out. So he don't really have to be working and doing deals like this behind the scenes. Because we can talk about President Trump. Once that election ended in November of 2020, from November till the time Biden got sworn in office in January, from November to January, Trump didn't do anything but try to pursue ways of saying the election was stolen. He literally stopped, according to Bill O'Reilly at least, he stopped being president. He just simply focused on how can I, get the election overturned. He stopped being president.
Exactly. This close to an election, you're usually a lame duck. You usually don't get anything done either internationally or domestically, because people want to see what the next administration is going to be. And that's why other countries don't normally want to deal with you. And the other side, as far as the Congress, don't want to do anything that's going to give you a win. But the fact that he's still out here, he's still putting out recommendations for legislation on the Supreme Court. He's out here getting hostages out, and they still saying that this guy's in the bed and can't even comprehend what's going on.
Well, here's speaking of spin, here's an interesting comment coming from Robert Gilliam on YouTube. Says the Biden administration sold out the United States to make it happen, to try and make themselves look better. The reason Trump couldn't do it, quote unquote, quickly is because they wanted us to sell out, and we don't negotiate. So he's saying that Trump had more integrity, didn't sell out the United States, and as a result, didn't get any hostages.
Okay, so is this another participation award? I'm just wondering if he was thinking about it. before the other people, does he get credit? Like I'm not understanding these excuses they making for stuff happening.
My hands are in the air. I can't speak any further than that. So getting back to the actual topic, though, Kamala Harris, does her heritage, race matter at all to you?
Yes, to a large part of the electorate, it does one way or another. I mean, I don't think that's any denying it. I mean, people like, but the reasons for it mattering is what befuddles me, because I'm not looking back and saying, well, heck, Trump's his ancestry goes back to Germany. I wonder if they were Nazis. You know what I'm saying? What are you talking about? He's here in America. He was born in America. He's an American. But we're not able to say that about Kamala Harris, or we're not able to say that about Barack Obama. There's a reason why there's a question. Nobody ever looked back into Bush's his history or any other president's history. These are the only two people where it's come up about their American experience and how they got to where they are. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about any other presidents except for these two. Yeah. We had a prime time Republican, a political hack on TV said in front of the whole world that she wouldn't vote for a guy because he was Indian.
You talking about Ann Coulter telling that to Vivek Ramaswamy? She did say that. But speaking of not voting for somebody, like Ann Coulter did tell Vivek, I would not vote for you because you're an Indian. Anita's mom in the comments said that is racist to vote for somebody because of their skin color. It shouldn't even be an option. So if somebody votes for Kamala, let's say somebody in America is of Indian descent or Jamaican or black or you name it, if they vote for her solely based on her, her ancestry or her skin color, is that racist?
I don't necessarily call it racist. I call it maybe you have a bias that's in you that you don't like. If somebody look, people can say what they want to, but when they have like big fights, they have a Hispanic against a black guy, or they have a white guy against a black guy. Internally, a lot of the people, they don't even know who those two people are. Yeah. But internally, you saying, if you white, you saying, I want the white guy to win. If you internally, you saying black, or if you Hispanic, you automatically saying, I hope the Hispanic guy win, without knowing that's internal bias. It's unconscious bias. So yes, there are people that are voting like that, but then nobody, I don't think, people are just saying, look, I'm not going to vote for anybody that's not that particular color. I mean, if that's the case, do you think there's any people vote for Trump just because he's a white guy?
Yes. Not only are they voting for Trump because he's a white guy, I think there's more people voting for Trump because he's a man. There's a lot of women, particularly MAGA, that I get called in the program and will tell you, I don't think this country should be ran by a woman. There is a lot of MAGA, a lot of Republican women that have that J.D. Vance mentality. There's a lot of traditional, evangelical women that agree women should be in their lane. So a lot of people are voting for Trump because he's a man.
Right, but that's an old school way of thinking that's going away. We already understand that in order to have a decent, not a decent, not that wrong word, but to have a comfortable a living in America, you need a two-income household. Women, regardless of how we want to think of it, are becoming more independent, and that's not going to change. That old school thinking that, look, it should just be a man, should just be going out and making the money, and the woman should stay home and take care of the kid, that ship has sailed. And no matter how much J.D. Vance calling them cat women, that's only going to hurt their party going forward. The more people that are born into this country right now understand that. And if you start...
I got to disagree. I got to disagree with your notion that, women have been in their lane, that ship has sailed. That ship has not sailed if you get enough people in power to make it a law that they got to go. For instance, in Afghanistan, when we were there occupying Afghanistan, we held the Taliban back. And for the time American soldiers were there, women began gaining rights. They started having small businesses. They started being able to drive and everything while we were there. So the women want to be free in Afghanistan. They were able to get an education and all of that. Very similar to how black people in the South, right after the Civil War, started being able to vote, starting to being able to be politicians and everything, because Abraham Lincoln left Union soldiers in the South to allow blacks to be free. We left Americans in Afghanistan to allow women to be free and hold the Taliban back, hold them back the same way the Union soldiers held back the Confederates. However, the moment we left Afghanistan, the Taliban went right back to oppressing women, just like the moment Union soldiers left the South, the Confederates went right back to oppressing blacks. But the point I'm trying to make is the ship has not sailed if enough people in power can force things to go backwards.
Man, that's a faulty relationship using Afghanistan. They only had rights because we gave them rights.
That's what I'm talking about. But they want them.
That's different from America, where the people you're talking about have the ability to vote people out.
But if you when I say if you got the wrong people in power to do it, they're going to remove that right. Just like in Afghanistan, while we were there, they started holding elections. The minute we left, the Taliban got rid of the elections. Just like I mentioned in the Confederate South, when the Union soldiers were down there, everybody could vote. The minute the Union soldiers left, everybody being able to vote was removed.
We don't have the Taliban as leadership, and women can rally when they've had enough. They can rally and they can change it by their vote. Okay. That's not the same as Afghanistan or any Middle Eastern country. That's a horrible example to say that our government is somehow going to go straight full tyrannical and say women can't vote anymore so we can maintain power, because this is something that they control.
So you believe that they've been able to, at least in some states, take away a woman's body autonomy, but they would never be able to take away their vote?
No. They can't take votes. They can't take men wouldn't even agree with that. Even J.D. Vance is talking about women with kids should have more power. They're not talking about taking away women's right to vote. That's totally off.
You're flat out wrong. J.D. Vance has already stated that we should give votes to children, and the parents should have control of those votes. So if a woman has 5 kids, when she go to vote, she gets 6 votes. The woman with no kids get 1. J.D. Vance has said this already. They're already talking about doing it.
That's giving women more votes by the amount of kids they have. How is that going to be beneficial that I'm trying to take women's rights away?
Well, you do understand that the husband is in the mix as well. I mean, you're starting to reward some women and not some other women. So the woman that doesn't have kids, she's starting to lose out.
Yes.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. Now you're forcing women to have children just so they can have a decent say.
Yeah, that could backfire, because the woman she could take her 5 or 6 votes and go against what the men want.
I'm just letting you know, J.D. Vance has already said that. So,
but the single woman wouldn't lose her right to vote.
Yeah, but if the woman with kids got 5 times your votes, yeah, you can vote, but your vote only means 1/5 of what hers does.
Right, but if all of the women are voting in the same direction, what difference does it make?
You don't know that's going to happen. I mean, the women, the women who are single, because their votes mean so much less than the women who have families. If you want to remain single, you're going to be in an environment that is pretty much forcing family life on you.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and move on, but I got one question for you.
Sure.
Out of the 2 parties, which party would attempt to make that stuff happen?
Well, J.D. Vance is already talking about it, so it's pretty obvious.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood what you're saying is something that the Republican Party would actually attempt to do.
Yeah, he's already talking about it. So, all right, then, Cal, appreciate you coming through. Well said. Thank you.
All right.
Good talk. All right, moving the program on, by the way, real quick. Thank you, folks that are tapping the screen. 170. Can we do that? Can we get 170,000 on the likes? 900 of you folks still rolling with your boy on this warm, thirsty afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for bringing the tough questions, says Douglas Peterson. Thank you. Appreciate you tuning in as well. I don't want any kids voting. After seeing the kids at Yale, they are goddamn common sense stupid, says, well, we'll see. But I mean, he's talking about what J.D. Vance is talking about doing. You could have, toddlers walking around. He stated that people who have an investment in the future of America should get more say at the polls than people who don't. In other words, if you don't have any children, you don't have as much of an investment in the future of this country. So he does, everything J.D. Vance is saying is suggesting that he is pro-family life, pro-having children, pro-marriage, pro-nuclear family. Nothing wrong with doing that. Nothing wrong with being pro-nuclear family or pro-family. But when you start putting it in law, you're taking away people's options. When you start benefiting one and not the other, that's where you're crossing the line. And giving a mom with a bunch of kids more power at the ballot box, then, I always use the example, a 20-year-old woman that joins the military and she's overseas fighting for her country and she does not have kids. She has less say at the ballot box than a woman sitting on the couch with 4 kids and no job. So that would have to obviously be tweaked, what he is suggesting, but he does want to give more power to a woman with kids. Very unpopular, exceptionally unpopular, but he did say it. And by the way, he didn't say it in a tweet. It wasn't from CNN or MSNBC. It's coming out of his damn mouth. He's on television. He's on a news program saying it. I can't believe President Trump did not vet that guy. I cannot believe. How long has it been since J.D. Vance? Thursday. Today is Thursday. So 2 weeks ago, I believe was it 2 or 3 weeks ago? Probably 2 weeks ago, the Republican National Convention and the liberals found all this shit. Who did you use on your side to vet your candidate? The liberals found some pretty harsh shit. That stuff's already been out now about a week. In like a few days, the liberals found all of this shit and you guys didn't know this was going to come up? Some of these, all of a sudden you got all these damn cat ladies coming out of the woodwork. You didn't know he said this shit? Wow. I just want to point it out because folks suggest that Trump is leading the country in the right direction. I'm not going to argue with that. There's a lot of legitimate reasons to like Trump. But his hiring abilities suck. They just suck. How many people you got to fire before you realize you should stop hiring people? You should stop doing this. In the comments, guess what? Thank you for the super chat. That is the name of the individual. Guess what? Color comes up due to the left calling people racist to persuade the vote to go blue. There is validity to that. I say it all the time. If you are a Republican, conservative, MAGA, and you debate with somebody on the left, eventually they're going to call you a racist. The Democratic Party does often throw around the racist word because if you can stick that on somebody, it does demonize them. It does work. But there is a flip side to that coin. If you are a liberal, progressive, or a Democrat, and you debate somebody on the right, they're going to eventually call you one of the IST words. Socialist, Marxist, communist, fascist. The right does the exact same thing as the left. They just use a different way of demonization. Everybody on the left is a communist, a socialist, a Marxist, or a fascist. Everyone. You look back at Hillary Clinton or even Barack Obama, that's a socialist to you? Everybody on the left is. So I do understand the left often throws around the word racism willy-nilly, but the right does the same with socialism and all these other words. They do the same thing. So I want to point it out. You can't say, well, you shouldn't do this if you're doing that. And it happens from both sides. Looking in the comments, Scott says Trump is going to lose big. Wow. Congratulations, Biden and Harris, for congratulations, Biden and Harris, for getting the prisoners released from Russia today. What do you mean forgetting? You put it together as one word. You're saying congratulations to Biden and Harris for getting the prisoners released today, but you put it together, making it sound like they don't give a damn. It's amazing how you can screw up one word. Now, I'm assuming it was an accident, but it's amazing how you can screw up one word and it literally changes the entire meaning of your statement. You had forgetting in there, but you're congratulating them for getting the prisoners free. Gen X, good afternoon. Wow, that's crazy. Lucky I saw that. I didn't want to chastise the man. Yes, I'm blind. I use talk. Okay, Anthony, is that true? Sorry, I don't want to. I saw it. I didn't know you were blind. Wow. Gen X, good afternoon.
What's up, Mr. Tim? How's your day going?
I'm hanging out like Mike Pence on January 6th. What I'm asking is, Kamala Harris, does her race, her ethnicity, her heritage, does that matter at all?
I don't give a shit about the color of her skin or any of that. No, why would that matter?
Why is it coming up so damn much?
It seems to matter to everybody else a lot more. It's because it's something for them to talk about. It's just one more container of gas to throw on the fire.
You do realize Trump is using it too, right?
Everybody's using it.
Do you think it's smart for Trump to be using it?
No, I don't think it's smart for anyone to be using it. I think it's fucking stupid, personally.
Yeah. So you do agree that Trump too is doing something that's fucking stupid?
I think they all are. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think they all are. I think it's fucking dumb.
Did you?
Why does it always go back to race and gender? And Harris can't win, so I don't see what the big deal is.
Why do you think she can't win?
Dude, there's no way. That woman is not going to win. It's not going to happen. There is no.
You got to give me more than that, because remember, Biden wasn't going to win either. What makes you say she can't win?
Because the media is trying so hard to make her liked, and all they're doing is making her more disliked. But good Lord, man, they had to put up a concert to get people to show up at her rally.
Wait, come on. You saying have you seen her favorable numbers? They're rising significantly, Gen X. I don't know if the numbers match what you're saying.
According to the media, which I put very, very little faith in, according to what the media is saying, I think they're full of shit. They're blowing up the numbers. They want to make her look better than she is, way better. And if you sit and listen to her, she's an idiot. They asked her, what are you going to do about the economy? What can you do to help the economy to make the inflation go away and make things better for Americans? Well, the price of a loaf of bread has gone up. The price of groceries has gone up. To probably answer the fucking question, you fucking dumb heifer. Come on.
Okay, so why are you going off on Kamala? Do you see any idiocy in J.D. Vance, some of the things he's saying?
I actually agree with JD on a lot of his.
No shit. I knew you would agree with all of that bullshit, all of that women in their lane bullshit. So you agree that a woman that has kids should have more voting power than a woman without?
No, that I don't agree with. That I agree with you on. And here I agree with JD Vance, 100%. The crazy cat lady thing. You got a bunch of really pissed off, miserable women in positions of power that they probably shouldn't have. I agree. I don't think that sentiment should be pushed on other people.
Pissed off women in positions of power. So you agree with the childless cat lady statement?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
What do you think the women? How do you think the women feel about that shit?
Well, they already hate my guts, so I'm pretty sure they don't like it.
So when you say Kamala can't win, you ever thought about the fact that all them pissed off women may vote for her?
She can't. It's a numbers game. There is no way she can win.
I'm hearing there's more women voters than men are Gen X.
Yeah, and half of them are Republicans. So that kind of balances itself out.
Do them Republican women have cats?
There's probably a good number of them.
Okay. Now, you mentioned Kamala's rally. I got a viewer on YouTube. Thank you, Moogly, for the super chat that pointed out the venue actually couldn't even take everybody that came through. He actually states that they had more reservations to her rally than the venue could fit. That sounds like Trumpish. You know, crowd size was so damn big. So you don't see that as a positive for Kamala?
Nope.
Let me ask you this.
All them people went to watch a concert. They didn't give a crap what Kamala had to say.
Yeah, and I
In
seen.
fact, a lot of them probably left when the concert was over.
Oh my God! You know, I did see Trump bring that up too at his rally right after he left the Black Convention, whatever that was called. He said, "Look, we don't have to have a superstar at the rally." He brought that up, so
he is the superstar.
Yeah, he does.
I just got my tickets today for the Bozeman MAGA rally on August 9th, Friday, August 9th. So I'll be there, camera in hand.
Bozeman, where's that at?
Montana.
Montana. Wow, that's way away. I've been to 2 rallies. I would certainly go to another. I would like to go to a Kamala rally as well, because finally you're gonna have Democratic gathering where there's energy. We haven't had that since Obama. So I would like to feel the energy of a Democratic rally as well. But I'm surprised they're going to Montana. Is Montana a swing state?
No, Montana is a very small state, but he's coming anyway.
Why? That's a waste of time as close as it is. Why waste your time in a state that's already in your back pocket?
Because we are his peeps.
But you're going to be his peeps whether you go there or not.
I think it's great that he's coming. I'm really looking forward to it.
All right, fair enough.
I think we're gonna have a good time.
Well, send me.
You know what the media is trying to do?
What?
They're trying to make Kamala as Obama, and they will never, ever in a million years do that. They can't do it. She does not have the chemistry. She's not as articulate as Obama. She's not as eloquent. She fits none of it. I don't see it, Tim.
Well, I would tell you this, though. One thing you're right. Kamala will never have the love and adoration of Obama, but she has one thing going for her, and that is her opposition being Trump compared to Obama's original opposition being McCain. People dislike Trump a hell of a lot more than they disliked John McCain back in 2008. So she's going to get a lot of anti-Trump votes by default. She could be Cruella, and she's going to get there's a lot of never Trumpers out there. I don't know if there were that many never McCains out there. There's a lot of never Trumpers.
Yeah, there's a lot of never Trumpers, but Obama. Somebody said in your comments, what are you talking? You didn't even like Obama. That's not true. I disagreed with a lot of Obama's policies, but as a human being, I liked Obama. I just didn't like his political party. I didn't like his policies.
I got to push back in the comment section. I can't believe this person came up with this shit before I did, but this is logical. This is DB82 says, laughing my ass off. A Trumper talking about a candidate not being articulate. The irony writes itself. I can't believe I didn't think of that. You're talking about Kamala doesn't have the articulation of Obama while voting for Trump. You do see that, right?
Trump is articulate in a different kind of way.
Are you kidding me? Articulate?
No, I'm not.
In what way? He's about as articulate as Rodney Dangerfield. What do you mean articulate?
Trump is one of the most entertaining people in our lifetimes. Whether you love Trump, whether you hate Trump, if Trump's on air, if Trump's doing a live telecast or whatever it is, you can bet people from both sides of the aisle are tuning in. Those of us who like him want to get a good laugh and hear what the hell is going to fall out of his mouth. The other side wants to watch him so they can see what they can hang him on. Yeah. That's brilliant.
Well, it's a difference between being articulate and being a media mogul. I do believe he is a genius at getting people to tune in, but that doesn't mean he's articulate. That just means he gets people to tune in. To me, Trump is a perfect example of that crazy-ass uncle that you got to warn your friends about when you bring them to your house. He may say any damn thing. That don't mean he's articulate. He's funny. He's controversial. He's interesting. But he's not necessarily articulate.
And you don't think that's articulate in itself? He's a marketing genius. Yeah. Okay. The man is a marketing genius. Because even bad press is good press. It still keeps him in the limelight. What days went by in the last 2 years, and I'm sure there's been a few, but more often than not, Trump is mentioned in some way, shape, or form, or there is a reference to him in our everyday lives.
All right, well, then let me ask you this. He clearly, at that black convention yesterday, he clearly dominated the news yesterday. Do you think that was good press?
Yeah, I think it was great press.
Really?
You know, it was funny because I watched that, Tim. I watched that. I don't remember if I told you this the last time we spoke. I watched it and from the beginning, and halfway through that woman's questioning, the first thing in my head was, what? How rude. She didn't even say hi to him. How you doing? Welcome, Mr. President. Welcome, Mr. Trump. She just dove right in to kind of tear him apart, and he caught that. And when he said that, I was like, okay, so it's not just me. That was pretty bad. And then they tried to hang him for a bottle of water. I watched it over and over and over again. If you watch him open that water, he cracks it and tightens it. Lefty loosey, righty tighty.
Why is he grabbing it? It's not even his water, though.
He puts the water back closer to him. I don't think he was aware that there was one on his right side. I think it was that simple.
I don't know. I think he maybe.
What I'm saying is they tried to hang him for. Oh yeah, he's gonna manhandle a bottle so she can't open it.
Yeah, they did.
Come on, really?
They did do that. I don't know. I mean, it looked kind of shaky or shady because he did have a bottle to his right side. He is right-handed. The bottle's right there, but he's reaching all the way across the table you didn't put no shit way over there. That is a legitimate point to make, Gen X. I mean, come on now, you reaching all the way across the table. You know that ain't your water way over there.
The bottles were already out there when all of them sat down. When Trump came out, there was already a bottle out there for each one of them. When he took the bottle, Tim, and he cracked it and he tightened it, if he would have put it closer to her, I'd have been like, yeah, all right, maybe he was being a dick. He put it right next to him, closer to him.
I don't know. I seen that video, and like I said, there is a bottle of water right next to him within like a foot or less, and he literally has to lean forward and reach to get the other bottle. Like, you know your shit ain't way over there. You the president. You think you put your water way over there? I don't know, Gen X. I don't know.
What direction was he sitting, Tim? He was sitting facing the women. It was in his range of view.
They're not going to put your water's not going to be that far away from you. Who would sit that down for the guy in that chair all the way over there next to the person in the other chair? I mean, who would do that?
Dude, you make it sound like he needed a boomerang. All he had to do was lean forward and grab the bottle, which is what he did.
All right.
He opened it, he tightened it, and he set it back down right next to him.
I hear what you're saying.
What a silly thing to point. What a silly thing to go after him for.
Well, it looks legit, though. I hear the silliness in it, but it looks legit. It does look like, I mean, why would you grab the water and do nothing but touch the cap of it? Were you not thirsty? Why don't you grab this water all the way over here, do something with the top, and then put it all the way back? I mean, again, it looks weird.
Video, Tim, if we're honest, and you watch the video, which I did several times.
I got it on my profile. I actually posted it.
And he retightens it. Yeah, I saw that. I commented on it.
Yeah.
He tightens it, and he loosens it, and then he retightens it. He cracked it. I do it with water bottles all the time.
You just pick up a bottle of water. You just pick up a bottle of water, loosen it, and tighten it back and sit it down.
Especially when I'm driving, yeah, I crack it because when I'm driving, I can't crack it with one hand.
And then you never
drink off it.
You crack it, sit it back down, and then you never drink from it again.
Well, how long was the interview over after he cracked it?
He was there for at least a half hour. I don't know how long it was, but Gen X, I don't know, man. I don't see it the way you do. You got a bottle sitting right next to you. You're saying he reached all the way over there, grabbed the bottle of water just to crack it and put it back down. I don't know anybody that does that.
Like I said, rewatch the video. I watched it for that exact reason. You know why I watched it, Tim? Because I wanted to agree with you, and here's why. I thought that was the funniest thing in the world, that he would fucking tighten it so she couldn't get it off. That made me laugh.
Well,
I wanted to believe that, but then when I watched it and I kind of dissected, I was like, nah, that's kind of not what happened.
I wanna agree with you that Trump wouldn't do something that ridiculous, but the idea that you're reaching all the way across the table just to grab a bottle of water to crack the top and put it back down, I've never seen nobody do something like that. If you grab a bottle of water and you're screwing around with the top, you probably intend to take a drink. I'm just going to turn the top, crack it, and put it back down. And the bottle is all the way on the other. And not only that, but the bottle is far enough away where you got to lean forward to reach and grab it. You crack the top. You don't sit it closer, so next time when you want to take a drink is right there. You lean all the way over it, put it all the way back where you got it from. And that makes sense to you.
I'm watching it. I'm watching it right now. He picks the bottle up. He cracks it. He tightens it.
And where does he put it back down?
Back on the table. Hold on. The other lady started talking. He put the bottle down closer to him, and he leaned forward to listen to what was going on. Well, I'm looking right at it, bro.
I can't watch it. I gotta see it. If I agree with your point, I'll come on any day, anytime, and concede that you got it right and I was wrong. But the way I saw that video, I think you got it wrong. But I'll take a look at it. I do gotta move it on. I now want to see that really bad, though.
It's more fun when we disagree, so I hope you don't agree with me.
Damn right. When is that rally again?
That's August 9th.
August 9th. Okay, so that's still some time. Wasn't his ass supposed to be having a debate around that time? You dodged the debate. That August 10th, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, he dodging debate so he can go talk to MAGA in Montana. Talk about a safe area. The man is running, man. I think he's running from Kamala.
A bunch of new MAGA gear.
All right, Gen X. Appreciate you coming through. Thank you.
All right, brother. Have a good day, man.
You too. Always a pleasure. Always enjoy talking to Gen X. Gen X is certainly MAGA. He's a friend of the program. Always welcome on. Anyhow, folks, I do appreciate the 176,000. September 10th is the debate. Okay, my fault. I thought it was August 10th. September 10th is the debate schedule. Okay. And I don't think he's going to do it then either. He's still has yet to give a solid, yes, I'm going to be there. He said it, and then he said there's reasons for me not to show this. I mean, he's really flirting with it to some degree, I guess, to drag it on, but he certainly hasn't given a definitive yes, it's on. Kamala's made it clear. What is she saying? If you got something to say it to my face. That's straight out of the hood. Who says she ain't black? It's your boy Tim. As always, tune in Monday through Friday, 1300 hours. 1 p.m. Central is where you'll find us. We don't block, ban, or censor. You enjoy civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle? Feel free to follow the program on TikTok, a subscription on YouTube, if you will. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Catch you tomorrow. Same for you guys on YouTube. I appreciate the support and participation. Always a pleasure having you on. If the witch is gone, some others might regain their sanity and some decency and common sense. This was refreshing. Okay, bye. Will Duncan. Well said. Catch you guys tomorrow.